Round 5, Country 4 of this 12-week campaign in the RSRA Super Series tonight. Sprint racing on the agenda, and what a night it promises to be. Oulton Park, the venue for the Dragon RC Oulton Park Super Sprint. Round 5 of the RSRA Super Series. And what a cracking agenda we have ahead of you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we've got 2 races for the price of 1. Plenty of bang for your buck. And the first reverse grid race of the season. Good evening, everybody. Zach Caban alongside Chris Kisby, Matt Davis. Welcome to our coverage on the platforms of SimShed broadcasting of this 5th round of the season on the back of visits to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, to Laguna Seca, and also Watkins Glen in the USA, and to the Nürburgring in Germany. We now find ourselves in the United Kingdom for the first time this season. And for the second time in as many weeks, we're changing up the format, of course. Last week we had a sprint race. This week we've got a super sprint. And next week we've got an enduro. And, of course, this is the first of 2 super sprints in the season. Oulton Park, reverse grid racing. What could go wrong? Chris Kisby, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Zach Caban. And, oops, I hope you got me there.
Yep, got you, mate. Go for it.
Excellent, yeah. And good evening to all the viewers all around Australia and the world. What a night. It's freezing like anything down here in the Tassie state, the Apple Isle, while Zach's going on in the heat up there. But, Oulton Park, chicanes, elevation change, corners, what a track.
Absolutely. Very good evening to you as well, Matt Davis. Great to have you along for the ride. You're going to take us on a hot lap very shortly, but this championship well and truly alive, as you saw last week. It's all guns blazing between the likes of Aaron Dodd, Rainer Costello, and Dylan Rudd, but it's the 44 that's the man to beat at the moment.
Zach Caban, Chris Kisby, good evening to you. JP, good evening, and everybody around the world, wherever you are watching from. The championship is hotter than ever, and it's only week 5. I'm looking forward to what's going to be happening towards the pointy end of the season, going down to round 10, 11, and 12. Costello at the moment, 3 on the trot. So on the hat trick at the moment. Maybe going for a new record, maybe 6 on the trot. We'll have to wait and see. Chris Kisby and Zach Caban.
Indeed. And, I mean, Rainer Costello's form is just incredible at the moment. Dylan Rudd maintains pole position here as we get ready for race 1. However, there's still 10 minutes left in qualifying. We'll get to the business end of that in about 5 minutes or so. But first up, let's have a look at the championship situation as it stands coming into this round. And Rainer Costello, I won't say comfortable leader, but 16 points is, that's better than an inch or 2 at the moment, given that it's... he would have to have a substantially bad race tonight compared to Dylan Rudd for Rudd to be able to take the championship lead. Every position is an extra 2 points. So, I mean, Rudd across the course of the night would have to finish somewhere in the vicinity of 5-6 positions better than Costello to have any chance of overturning that deficit tonight. We'll wait and see. Of course, 2 races for the price of 1, different points format than usual. We'll go through all that as we go on here. 575 for Alex Court in 3rd place. So 603 plays 587, plays 575. 16 and 12, the deficit's there. 29 points. Good gap from Alex Court, then back to Blake Warboys. Then Matthew Scholes and Rehan Leonage, of course, Dean Reddit, Peter Crossingham, Mitch Campbell and Dylan Pereira make up the top 10 at this point in time. Just have a look at that. If we can go back, JP, just to that previous screen, just have a look at that tight buffer there. You got Blake Warboys 545, 543 for Matthew Scholes, 542 for Rehan Leonage. Battles are plenty in that top 10 at this point in time. Over the page we go. Let's go back to 20th, and then we'll continue to look at the field as it stands here. 11th is Jamie Dyke, Ben Morris, then Alan Dawson. Again, you can see the gap's getting bigger down there, but tie for 15th between Chris Barnes and Rod Hollis. Then you go back to Dean Alessi, of course, in 14th there. I missed him. Apologies. 17th is Dean Powell, Lindsay Hobbs, Brian Cooper, and Rick Sibra make up the top 20. Already a good turnout tonight as you continue looking at the field there. Matt Davis is about to take us on a hot lap here of Oulton Park, 4.33 kilometre circuit, to show you the ins and outs of this track and maybe point out a couple of good overtaking manoeuvres along the way, because overtaking is going to be one of the key components of the reverse grid race here this evening. And we'll try and find where Matt is on the circuit in just a moment and pick him up and take you for a hot lap here. really looking forward to these two races tonight. We'll go through the track map and the race info for you in just a moment. But first, Matt Davis, talk us through the only British circuit on this season's calendar.
I certainly will if I don't make a mistake by nudging the tyre barrier too close there. And what better way to do it than the FU Suicide ZB Commodore for the first time this season, might I add as well. So it's good to be back in the hot seat.
Pressure's on.
And what a track to do it at. Oulton Park, one of the tightest circuits. But then we go to Chicago, obviously, next week. Concrete barriers galore. So definitely going to be an interesting one this week, though. Reverse grid racing is going to really turn on the action. And I finally found myself some clear track around here. 40 cars out on field, but what better way to do it? Fifth gear into the last corner, ladies and gentlemen, to start your hot lap for Oulton Park. Nice and easy on the throttle as you come up over the crest and then mash the firewall. Up the gears into fifth as you come across the start-finish line. Hold it on the limiter. Click it down 2 gears. Clip in the grass. Run it out wide. Up into fifth gear as you come in through turn 2 across to the right-hand side. Then down 2 gears for the left-hander. Bit of a late apex for me. Hard onto the power again, up into fourth. Up into fifth, all the way to 6th gear, just before the haul road here. Quick dab of the brakes, back down into fifth and let it coast through. Run it out wide, then dart it down to the edge of the track. Back into second, into the hairpin. 2nd gear, ease it on the throttle, flat to the wall again. Up into 4th gear, into the first chicane. 2nd gear, cut as much as you can to open it up. Try and straighten this up as much as you can. Watch the wheel spin as you come up over the hill. The 2nd chicane. Another overtaking point for the race tonight. So look out for here. They'll be running too wide. It's going to be tight. 2nd gear through here. Quick flick left. Then back to the right. Easy on the power. The car wants to dance through there. Up into 3rd. Now through the admin bridge. The car gets real light over here. So be careful. Take as much curb as you can without getting it off track before you jump onto the brakes. Down into 3rd gear. Double apex corner through here. Back up over the hill. Watch the wheel spin in 4th. Whoa. Don't want to pick up too much, otherwise you're into the wall. Back down into 2nd for the final corner. Easy on the power again. And across the start-finish line. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a lap of Oulton Park.
That's a hairy lap around Oulton Park.
Very hairy lap. But he was told not to make it a clean lap because he wasn't allowed to register a time because he's not actually racing, and he did just that. Well done, Matt Davis. That was awesome to watch. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, for someone that's been out of the seat from a hot lap standpoint for a while, he hasn't missed a beat there, Chris Kisby. He's in fine form.
Oh, he certainly is. I was not really looking forward to racing this track on Thursday night because and seeing him go sideways around a corner is justification for my nervousness about trying to race this track.
Exactly right. Well, thankfully for you and for the GSRC contingent, Oulton Park has been ditched in favour of Laguna Seca. I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. Because
I don't know whether that's a good idea either.
Again, Laguna Seca is just one of those courses that ask for trouble, as we saw a couple of weeks ago here on SimShed Broadcasting.
It did.
Let's have a look at the race information for tonight, if we can, boys, and discuss a couple of different things here, because tactical play is what's required tonight. There's a lot at stake here. We are 4 minutes away from the end of the qualifying session. Race 1 will be 13 laps, and race 2 will be 20 laps. So 33 laps worth of racing tonight on a 4.33 kilometre course. So obviously we're sub the usual 150, 160 kilometre distance that we get, but that's normal procedure for a super sprint night. Pit lane speed, make a note of that, very slow, 50 kilometres an hour. 110 litre fuel restriction. These guys can run with a full tank tonight because there are no pit stops. It is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, rip in and let go.
Your brain gets a rest.
From the outset. Yeah, my brain gets a rest, and it needs one too. Jeez, it's been a big week. 3.6 litre fuel burn per lap. That's also worth noting, but not so much as it would be on any other week. Race date set to the 20th of July 2021. Only a couple of hours into the future, 1:30 in the afternoon. That's 10:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, by which time we'll hopefully be well and truly off air. Air temp is 18 degrees, track temp 38, and wind speed 12 kilometres an hour heading in a northwesterly direction. Other interesting points of interest here, of course, include where the incident points kick in at 14x and every 9x thereafter. And as we've seen throughout the season, the race control team have been tightening the belts on these guys and really reining them in. And I think that has been well received by all concerned, Chris Kisby and Matt Davis. I'll get your thoughts here because we've been rewarded with pretty clean, extraordinarily entertaining racing. Overall, the spectacle's raised up a notch since last season. And, I mean, the incident points, when everyone's got to be on their A game and have the belts tightened like that, it brings out the best in the paddock. Sure, some of them are still getting done for pit lane indiscretions, but that's not iRacing, that's our race control.
Well, that's right, Zach. Look, this is the best of the best. This is the top split. This is the pinnacle. Whichever way superlative you want to use. These guys should know how they race. They should know the rules, regulations. They should know how to give race room, how to race properly. You know, we all like to see door rubbing, and that's great racing there. But these guys, top of the game, so they should be up to the task, mate.
Indeed, they should. Matt Davis, I mean, there are some people out there who like the tightening of the belts, and I mean, from a SimShed broadcasting standpoint, the belts were tightened from the start with 0 fast repairs, but now we're cracking down on the X's, and it's showing because everyone's being a little bit more mindful of that. Yes, we're still seeing some little indiscretions and some mistakes on the circuit, and I'm expecting a few tonight, but everyone's playing fairly so far this season from what we've seen.
They're really cracking down over at Race Control and on those minor little details that you probably wouldn't see too much on the broadcast, but it's the itty-gritty stuff that may allow a 10th here or a 10th there to the driver in front or the driver in tow, should I say. So it's good to see him and cracking down on those itty-gritty bits. It's going to make for some interesting close racing and some good hard-fought battles. We watched last week, a lot of battles were won on pit lanes. So that's going to be a very big thing to watch in the up-and-coming weeks for certain.
All right, we're about to rip through a grid here, ladies and gentlemen, because we're only 40 seconds off the end of qualifying. Have a look at that. Rainer Costello, third. Now, Dylan Rudd and Aaron Dodd have come to Oulton Park and brought their A game with them tonight. Blake Warboys, fourth fastest. Rehan Leonage, one of the stories of the season, fifth. Jamie Dyke, Cameron Jones, Sean McNamara, Matthew Scholes, Dean Powell make up the top 10 at the moment. Massive field here at Oulton Park, rather. And, of course, the reverse grid factor is going to be so critical tonight. Overtaking opportunities, I mean, again, because of the tight nature of the circuit, it's not going to be easy working your way through in the reverse grid feature, which is why it is such an exciting prospect ahead of us here. Let's get these cars onto the grid and have a look at the grid for you. And we're going to have to rip through it too, because there's plenty of them. And, of course, there's such a tight turnaround on a sprint night between cars lining up on the grid and the race getting underway. So we'll have a look at the grid for you as soon as it's ready. And have a look at that. They backed up around the corner. Dylan Rudd and Aaron Dodd, front row. Rainer Costello and Blake Warboys, second row. Then we go back to Rehan Leonage, Jamie Dyke, then Cameron Jones and Sean McNamara from row 4, Matthew Scholes and Dean Powell from row 5, Dylan Pereira and Michael Angus from row 6. Let's go to Chris Kisby now with the next 6 rows.
Row 7, Ben Morris, Peter Crossingham. Row 8, Alex Court, Craig Schultz. Row 9, Simon Chadwick, Robert Crisdale. Row 10, Brenton Nitschke and Jacob Brewer. Row 11, Rick Sibra and Ash Davis. Row 12, Hayden Norris and Alan Dawson.
Rightio, let's go back to row 13 now. Of course, it is Rod Hollis and Lindsay Hobbs. Row 14, David Kirby and Sam Noble. Row 15, Chris Barnes and Brian Cooper, of course. Dean Reddit from 16 alongside Mitch Campbell. And Dean Alessi and Craig Newell on row 17. So 34 starters tonight. We were hoping for somewhere in the 40 range. We've got 34, but that's going to be bedlam enough. Any predictions, boys? Alex Court, 15th. He'll be disappointed with that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Court's definitely going to be disappointed with that, but he's had some good clean racing. He's made it up on the strategy and the pit stop, so it's going to be an interesting one to see. Jamie Dykes qualifying top 10. He's going to be a fair chance tonight as well, I say. So, but keep an eye out on Leonage as well. The young Leonage, he could be an upsetter as well.
Quick.
I'd like to see him get up for one race at least, and at least get a second anyway.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, behind you, mate. Runaway Rainer, of course. The tearaway youngster looking for another race win as we get set to go. The Dragon RC Super Sprint live from Oulton Park. Racing now. One car's just disappeared completely off the grid before we got underway. The field catapults down towards turn 1. Let's watch them scramble through here and see if they're okay. So far, so good. Dylan Rodnar and Dot have skipped clear. Rainer Costello's going with them in third. He's under pressure from Rihan. Leonage has already got by Blake Warboy, so Leonage is on a charge early.
Ooh.
Up into position number 4, and then Simon Chadwick's off the circuit. Big one at the back.
Big incident in the back. Half the field gone almost by the looks of it.
Jacob Brewer, Michael Angus, Brenton Nitschke, Dylan
Still
Pereira,
green.
all involved, but we are still green at the moment. They've managed to clear it. They make their way up through the chicane, halfway through this opening lap. Rudd has skipped clear, half a second on Dodd, then Costello, Leonage, and Warboy's the top 5. Dyke and Jones have slotted into 6th and 7th in the early stages here. You're riding on board with Blake Warboys. That's Rian Leonage ahead of him. Good start from the youngster in the 79, up into position number 4 in the NCS entry. Through the back of the circuit. Already you're getting an idea of how narrow this place is and how hard it's going to be for Warboys to find a legitimate way through. On Leonage, who's already running a defensive line as well. Down towards the back of the circuit they go. One lap in the book at Oulton Park. That went quickly.
You've got to be careful.
Replay there, boys, and I just noticed Ben Morris, number 43, jumped the start. So we'll see what comes from that.
Oh no, Benny Morris. Very
Ben Morris in the pit line.
Very noticeable point during the race as well, Chris Kisby, Zach Caven. When they come up over the top of the hill and take that curb just under the tree, look at the different lines. There's Jamie Dyke off the track mowing a bit of grass around Oulton Park in the UK. That's not where you want to be. Get a Nationwide Technology Systems replay of that one, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll see a bit of cutting your eye, I'd say.
A little bit wiggly under the brakes, too much rear brake by the looks of it, going through the dip as you come out of that right-hander, boys. And ladies and gentlemen, there is a big dip on the right-hand side, which you want to try and stay out of. It unsettles the car. But we've got a bigger problem here too, boys. We're going to jump in there. Matt Davis, Rihan Leonage has ended up off the circuit as well and dropped down to 19th position. And the 205 for contact on the 957 gets a drive-through penalty as well. The 205 is Michael Angus. His night goes from bad to worse. He was in 31st position, so he can just about guarantee himself a front row start for the reverse grid race, and that's what happened to Leonage.
I thought that was going to come because I was just going back through the replays to see where the tap was.
Is there contact with Blake Warboys here? Yes, there is.
Yes, there was.
Oh, no. Warboys is going to be in trouble there, I'd say, given that race control have been pretty stern and pretty streamlined with their punishment this season. Car-to-car contact, they've had a sense of humour failure with regards to that, there's no doubt. But they have been pretty consistent with their adjudications. Now, Alex Court is already up to 12th position, so 3 positions gained in 2 laps for Alex Court. We won't be far off losing our good mate Matt Davis, but we appreciate him joining us as per usual, and the great man will be in the booth here tomorrow night for you with the RSRA Super 2 E-Series as well, and looking forward to that from 8:20 Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, looking forward to backing it up tomorrow night, boys, that's for sure. And ladies and gentlemen, so don't forget, 8:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And join myself and most likely the director JP in the booth. Unfortunately, don't have Zach Cabot or Chris Kisby to join me. They'll be over at the DSRC.
Any budding young commentators that want to throw their hand up to sit alongside the great man, let us know. But in the meantime, We've got David Kirby on screen in 21st position in the Calamari Racing Stable entry. Aaron Dodd, fastest lap of the race, 134.35. Matt, how do you see tonight shaking out? Oh, no, off circuit. There goes Alan Dawson. Alan Dawson off the circuit. He rejoins, but he's going to drop a couple of spots in the process here. And that's going to be the big thing that Chris Kisby and I get to talk about for much of the night here, Matt Davis. Those little simple mistakes, and they're so easy to bring competitors undone here at Oulton Park.
Oh, here we go. Card 63. That's Warboys on Lienage. Warboys with a trip to pit lane as well, ladies and gentlemen. But how about this? 3 wide coming in to the final quarter. That's not going to end well, but they managed to hold it together. That is some excellent racing there down the field. No, Oulton Park, it's one of the tougher tracks to overtake. It's only 2 cars wide. But it's enough for 2 cars wide. As the 955 there.
Did well to gather it up.
I was about to say, did very well to gather it up. 955 ran a little bit wide. But Ash Davis that was. No, 2 wide, that's all you can fit. You can squeeze 3, but try and take 3 wide through a corner. Not going to happen. The hairpin through here, not going to happen too wide. It's a cambered corner. As soon as you get to the top end, you lose front end grip. So watch for single file and the overtake into the hairpin there. But the overtaking is going to be slim, if not next to none tonight, boys. So going to be very, very different. But watch for different lines. That's going to be the key. The different lines that every driver takes. There's a lot of different lines coming through the chicane here, coming up under the bridge after the Advan Bridge, going into the final corner. Lots and lots of different lines to be had around this circuit. So just watch where they're fast and where they're slower.
Matt, my line's the one that doesn't hit that. My line's the one that doesn't hit the tyres.
That's a very good line. That is a very good line around here, Chris Kisby.
Now the other thing too, Matt. I mean, Chris Kisby knows as well. We've all seen reverse grid races before. What for you is the key to for these championship contenders? Whoa! Look up there. And now here comes Hayden Norris up the inside to try and get by Rod Hollis, and he's got that done as they get to the start-finish line. Hollis will try and force the issue on the outside to 1, but he has to yield, and here comes Lienage as well. Oh, good racing at Oulton Park. What's the key to the guys at the front here? Obviously, already a couple of front-running cars are going to be down the back end of the field at the end of this race, and they're going to have an immediate advantage in the reverse grid race, Matt Davis. But damage control and limiting potential championship implications. Apart from that, what are the keys to this reverse grid race for the championship contenders like Rudd, Dodd, and Costello here?
Key features there. Race clean. That's all I can say is race clean. Don't make any dire moves that is going to ruin your championship fight and your race at the end of the night. You can make up a lot of positions around Oulton Park if you make it clean. Don't go dive bombing into corners where you know that you're not going to make it too wide. For instance, the chicane through here. So, it's going to be hard. It's going to be an interesting race to watch in the final stages. Black Warboys, lights ablaze all over the back of Lienage. Lights ablaze all over the back of Lienage. So, Warboys in a bit of a hurry now. Lienage not too confident in the car, but he's going to hold Warboys up to try and force the fight. And run Warboys wide into the final corner. That's not where you want to be on the outside. No grip out there.
Not at all.
No, the guys up front that are going to be starting at the back, for the likes of Rudd, Dodd, Costello, Jones, McNamara, your top 5 at the moment. They're just going to be wanting to keep it clean, keep it out of the panels, and try and just rack those bonus points. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, 5 bonus points for a clean race.
Exactly. And already tonight, these guys won't be picking it up, Warboys or Lienage, for this race anyway, because of the earlier incident. And, I mean, to be fair, that penalty did justice for Blake Warboys because, I mean, he's come... Oh, contact again! Oh, can you believe it? He was trying to get the move done on Lienage on the outside. Contact. Side panel contact, and Warboys drops off again. Back to 23rd this time. I was going to say, the penalty balanced the original collision out, boys, because Warboys come out directly behind Lienage. This now unsettles it again. Chris Kisby, your take, please.
Well, see, this is it. It's not showing the patience to get a wait. And patience is going to be a key in the second race. The guys at the front that are at the front now and for the championship, they'll know that they have to be patient and just wait for these slower drivers to either make a mistake or give them the room that they desire and pass them cleanly. Now, if they can do that and they can try and it happens all the time with me, with the faster drivers coming back through, is that they get a little bit impatient with the slower drivers, and instead of just waiting that extra corner, they'll actually try and take them on into the corner. And from a driver that's a mid-pack to rear-pack, all I'm interested in is getting the line. And if I'm predictable to them, then they're going to get around me easy. It's when I become unpredictable is when I make it hard for them, and it takes me out and them out. So it's a bit of a cat and mouse game and patience.
Our director just reporting to me that anyone that's black flagged in this opening race will start race 2 from pit lane. So double penalty, really. You serve the penalty in race 1, and then you start from pit lane for race 2, because instead of obviously inheriting a pole position because you finish at the back of the order, race control aren't viewing that one favourably either, and they'll start from pit lane. So it's a double blow on a night where track position is paramount. There's no doubt about that. We're halfway through this opening race. Rudd leads Dodd, Costello, Jones and McNamara are the top 5. You're riding on board with Robert Crisdale here, following Peter Crossingham. Alex Court's only about a second and a half away, having moved up into position number 10 from 15th on the grid. So Court's had an all right run, but he won't be happy with what's unfolded in qualifying. He was confident about qualifying pace, and it obviously has proven to be misleading for him, unfortunately. And again, I reckon it'll be as simple as Matt Davis or Chris Kisby, whoever wants to jump in here. It'll be as simple as not having been able to find the clean real estate, because 25 minutes, 34 cars on track, it was always going to be tough.
That's always the problem, is when you've got open qualifying like this, you've got to find clean air on the track, clean space on the track. And if you don't do that, then you're not going to get that coveted pole position. So it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Open qualifying, you're going to come up with that.
Clean track around Oulton Park, though, is difficult to find in qualifying. I was lucky enough to find one just for the hot lap. I had to let about, I'm going to say I had to let about 12 vehicles pass just to get myself some clear real estate. He gets it in the hairpin at the moment. And that is the, just behind Rod Hollis. That's Ash Davis caught up in that one.
Mitch Campbell as well. Oh, boy. Fireworks are plenty tonight. Race control have got their work cut out for them this time around, I'd say.
Rick Sibber and Ash Davis.
Rick Sibber and Ash Davis. Whoa.
And they both blocked their ears.
They both got sideways. Oh, geez. Race control is going to have their work cut out for them adjudicating on that one. Whether that was just as simple as both locked brakes or whether there was contact, I'm not sure. But in the meantime, let's go back to Dylan Rudd. Aaron Dodd's giving close chase. Rainer Costello's a second and a half away at the moment. Now, this is interesting because it's the first time all season we haven't seen Costello running in the top 2. And I don't want to put the mocker on that, but, I mean, at least he's keeping up his podium run. He'll still have the championship lead in all those other circumstances. But this is a circuit where clearly the Commodores of Rudd and Dodd have come to play. And this is a very fine performance from Dylan Rudd. Back in victory lane last week after nearly being there 2 weeks on the trot, rounds 2 and 3, and then having separate misfortunes put him off the podium on both occasions. One that was running out of fuel on the cooldown lap. The other was an engine blow-up on the final lap, both of which saw Rainer Costello snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Now he's coming out to make a statement, and Aaron Dodd's going with him. This is great to watch. And Dodd looks content to sit there, Kisby. He doesn't look like he's willing to chase and make a move. These guys know that first and second is as good as anything at the moment, because the hard work's going to be the next race.
It is. And I was just going through and I'm watching them here, and a little part of me saying, come on, boys, you're better than this. A few of the re-entries back onto the track after a bit of a slide have been a little bit negotiable. They're getting onto the power a little bit earlier and they're re-sliding out again for a second time when they're trying to get onto the track, which is causing havoc for cars coming in behind. Once you're off the track, you're off the track. That's it. You've got to allow the cars that have been good enough to stay on the track to go through without hindrance from you trying to get back on the track. Boys, I know you're a little bit better than this.
Whoa! There goes David Kirby by Mitch Campbell. And nice job done by the 305. Or 307, I should say. 307, 205. That's right. I knew I'd get dyslexic at one point tonight. There is Mitch Campbell dropping down the order. Now we go back to Alex Court under all sorts of pressure here from Jamie Dyke. Alex Court, the 888 under pressure from Jamie Dyke as they head towards the hairpin. Dyke content to sit there for the moment. Court trying to latch onto the back of Krista, but he's 1.4 seconds away. Drive-through penalty for 63 on lap 12. On lap 7, car contact on the number 12. So Blake Warboys has been pinged the second time.
And it was again. Well,
Clear drive-through for Blake Warboys tonight, and it's only race 1.
Ash Davis in the wars again.
Did we say 63 or 67? I'm sorry. 63 is Blake Warboys. Yeah, we did say, yeah, cool. I was just having one of those moments where I was like, did we get that right? Yes, we did. No, absolutely. Anyway, all good. So, hope you're enjoying it. Race 1 of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, we've got another one coming up for 20 laps, reverse grid style, and we're going to have our work cut out for us here, no doubt about that. In the meantime, back to Rick Sibra in position number 19. There will be a 10-minute interval between the completion of race 1 and the start of race 2. We'll interview the top 3 out of this race. We'll interview the top 3 from the second race. We'll interview the top 3 for the round if anyone doesn't get on the podium but still nets a round result, and that's possible tonight. Don't worry about that. There are all sorts of variables thrown up when we go reverse grid racing. Don't forget, next week too, ladies and gentlemen, we're with you from the earlier time of 7:50 Australian Eastern Standard Time for our live and exclusive coverage of a 73-lap, 250-kilometre enduro from the new Chicago Street Circuit. Really looking forward to that. 73 laps ahead of us next Tuesday night. But brand new.
Looking forward to it. I'm going to do a hot lap around there, Zach Caben.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, no, I don't envy you in the slightest, but no, that will be awesome. The first enduro of the season, the only enduro for the RSRA Super Series. It will be no! Contact Rick Sibra! He's just rammed into the back of Chris Barnes, I think it was, and wow, he's paid the price. Rick Sibra catapults down the order to 28th position. Have a look at this on replay.
Just too late on the brakes. All the fronts have locked up and he just could not pull it up.
And I'll tell you what, how lucky. How lucky was Barnes
a little bit of a wide line there by Barnes. Actually, I think Barnes went a little bit late on the brakes and then Sibra followed suit. So a little bit of a double whammy on that one.
I think Barnes was on the brakes a lot earlier than Rick, though.
Slowed down a lot more, too, because I think he was going to overshoot. So he did run wide as well, Kisby. So I think Barnes took a little bit too much brake pedal, a little bit too much track to the right, and Sibra just decided to follow.
I know how that feels.
Well, I think we all do as racers.
Absolutely. Just to finish what I was saying too, fellas, there will be 2 enduros in the RSRA Super 2-week series, but this season there is just the one in the main game, and that is next Tuesday night. Early start time, 7:50 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Drive-through penalty for car 06 now for contact on the 955. That was on lap 8. So Rick Sibra.
Ash Davis.
And Ash Davis, the 2 cars involved there. And I dare say, to be fair, would Race Control want to take action on the incident just then with Chris Barnes as well? Or will they consider that damage done because Rick Sibra paid the price there, not Barnes?
Well, that's a very good call, actually, Zach. I mean, very, very good call. It didn't affect Barnes' race. He was still able to motor on, get into the corner, and race on. So he didn't. I don't think he lost the position, but definitely Rick Sibra lost out on that one. So I think Race Control might just say play on.
And don't forget, black flag drivers, and I've lost track. We've had 4 or 5 maybe black flags so far.
There's going to be a lot of black flags from the pit, mate.
There's going to be a long lineup, a long queue at the end of pit lane for the start of the next race. Final lap. Can Dodd do anything about Rudd, or has Rudd got this in the bag? Costello looks content in third. They're a long way ahead of Cameron Jones, Sean McNamara, Dean Powell, Matthew Scholes, Peter Crossingham, Robert Crisdale, and Alex Court. In fact, I know we've got to focus on the front, but as soon as we can, let's get to that battle between Crossingham, Crisdale, and Court, because about half a second separates them at the moment. In the battle for the minor places, 8, 9, and 10. In the meantime, through we go. Rudd and Dodd, a fine performance from these guys, and we've been waiting for this, haven't we? I mean, as much as Chris Kisby and I, as closet Ford fans, maybe not in Kisby's case, have been enjoying the dominance of Rainer Costello, we knew that at some point someone would step up to the plate and make this guy work for it, and that is happening tonight through Dylan Rudd and Aaron Dodd. And Dodd's been due for a result, whereas Rudd, he's had misfortune after misfortune and now is finally starting to string some results together. These two are going to be ones to watch as the season goes on. And the young runaway tearaway is going to have to find a way in which to lift his game, if that's even possible, because I thought he'd peaked.
Well, I think Zach, to be fair, he's done exactly what he needs to do for the race.
Yep.
Why... And we harp on it all the time. Why put your own race in jeopardy fighting for at the front when you can consolidate by just sitting in third? Yeah,
Dylan Rudd gets the win. Sorry, Kisby, I'll just jump back here in a moment. Dylan Rudd gets the win from Aaron Dodd and Rainer Costello. It's the second win of the season for Rudd. But in the meantime, let's have a look at this. Or is it third? It might be third for Rudd. My apologies. Across the line we go. That was how it finished down the order. Scholes, Crossingham did hold on. Crisdale, Court, and Dyke the next three home. So no change in the closing stages to that 8th, 9th, 10th battle. Crossingham did hold on, but well played, Alex Court, getting up into 10th position. Of course, all of that comes undone now because we invert the field. But well done to Dylan Rudd from Aaron Dodd, Rainer Costello, and Cameron Jones. Then Sean McNamara home for 5th position. Kisby, continue, please.
Yeah, so he's run this race very, very smartly, I reckon, it's young Rainer. What's happened now is he's now in front of Dylan and Aaron. They've got to work to catch him. Even though he's got to go through the pack, it's going to be harder for them to catch him in a reverse grid race, because if he gets through and then the others get caught behind those slower drivers that I was talking about earlier, then Rainer's going to finish up close to the top of the pack, if not in first place. That is yet to be unveiled. But I reckon he's run a really intelligent race here, consolidated his position in third there. He's got out in front of the other two drivers, and now they've got to work to catch him, and we'll see where the points fan out at the end of the two races.
Very
Now,
good
Davis
point there,
is about
Chris
to leave us, but I'll come to you for some final thoughts in a moment, mate, because I know you're about to shoot through. Let me just run through those race results. Great point from Chris Kisby. I agree. Dylan Rudd from Aaron Dodd, final margin 0.82 of a second. Rainer Costello, Cameron Jones, Sean McNamara, Dean Powell, Matthew Scholes, Peter Crossingham, Robert Crisdale, and Alex Court made up the top 10. And, of course, only 7 Holdens and 3 Fords in that top 10 there. Similar story, 6 and 4, the split in favour of Holden from 11 to 20. Jamie Dyke, Craig Schultz, Hayden Norris, then Rehan Leonage, Rod Hollis, David Kirby, Mitch Campbell, Alan Dawson, Chris Barnes, and Simon Chadwick. Over the page we go. Dylan Pereira in 21st position. Benny Morris 22nd. After that, I think it was a jump start, we were told. Dean Alessi, then Lindsay Hobbs, Dean Reddit, Sam Noble, Brian Cooper, Craig Newell, Blake Warboys, a shocker for him, and Jacob Brewer down in 30th. 31st was, of course, Ash Davis, then Brenton Nitschke, Michael Angus, and Rick Sibra rounded out the finishing order. I tell you what, a long list of casualties there. Everyone got to the finish line, but in terms of guys that you'd normally expect to be further up the order, they're buried because of penalties or the like. There are some guys that are going to benefit because of a bad race here because they didn't get penalised with a front of grid start for the next race, but there's going to be a long list of cars in pit lane as well, and a difficult night at the office. We mentioned the importance, Matt Davis, and this is where I'll get you to finish before we have a chat to the drivers here. We mentioned the importance of making every race count here, because there's no drop rounds. It's 12 rounds, 14 races. You've got to hit every goalpost. And there are some guys that are going to be kicking themselves tonight.
Yeah, you got to hit every goalpost this season, and especially tonight. The no drop rounds is definitely going to wreak havoc on the championship points come week 12 of the RSRA Super Series. So watch to see a few guys taking it easy tonight in the reverse grid. And I bet, no doubt, Dodd, Rudd, and Costello are definitely going to be taking the time going back through the grid. And don't forget, it's not the race of the hare, it's the race of the turtle.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Matt Davis, a quick final comment from you because you're about to shoot through, mate. We appreciate it so much that you stopped by for as long as you did. And, of course, we're wishing you all the best with the call tomorrow night for the Super 2 E-Series. But a final comment from you before you go.
All right, just big congratulations to Dylan Rudd on the race win, Dodd and Costello for rounding out the podium there. And obviously, big thank you to FU Suicide for allowing me to terrorise Oulton Park in the ZB Commodore.
Exactly right, mate. Very nicely done. Good work. Great to have you company as per usual. We'll catch up next week.
Will do, guys. Godspeed for the next race podium, and we shall speak to you throughout the week, no doubt.
Looking forward to it immensely. Matt
Thanks,
Davis, ladies and gentlemen, taking you for a hot lap and enjoying some comments with us, and some commentary with us, I should say, here in that opening race of the night. Let's get to the top three here because we're on borrowed time with them, and I'll start with the race winner, Dylan Rudd. That's more like it, mate. I mean, 2 weeks in a row after the misfortunes of Laguna Seca and Watkins Glen, you're finally starting to string some results together, and a critical time to do it on a reverse grid night.
Yeah, it was a good race. So I got a good start and then just managed my tyres from there. So, yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm just getting some correspondence here whilst we go. So let me work this one out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars starting from pit lane for the next race as well. I'll get to that in just a moment. But in the meantime, let's focus on Dylan Rudd here. Quick two before we go, Dylan. It didn't appear as though Aaron put too much pressure on you there, and you just had to hit your markers and bring it home in one piece.
Yeah, Aaron said Aaron wasn't putting any pressure on, so we're just cruising around at the front. So, yeah.
Reverse grid race. Obviously, Oulton Park, not the easiest place to overtake on. There is going to be some fireworks, potentially some carnage. What's your plan of attack here in trying to limit the damage that could potentially be done over the next 20 laps?
Just make it past lap 1 and go from there.
I like it.
Good luck.
I like it. Hey, quickly, some thank yous from you.
Just like to thank all the guys from 95 Sim Sport and all our sponsors. Don't have the list up right now, sorry.
Copy that, mate. Come back and see us after race 2, irrespective of the result, because we think you'll probably factor into the round points anyway. So come back and see us and give us a proper rundown of your sponsors at the end, yeah?
Will do. Thanks, guys.
Get out of here. Good luck in the next race. Let me go to Aaron Dodd. Nice to see you on the podium, mate. Again, a fairly processional race at the front. Not too much pressure being applied from you onto Dylan Rudd there. You look content to just stay in second and bring it home in one piece.
Yeah, g'day, guys. Yeah, that was pretty much the plan for race number 1. Just be a good wingman for Dylan. And, yeah, just try and get him some points for the first race. But it's on for round 2.
Not strategies or what, Zach?
Yeah, exactly right, Kisby. No, you're on fire tonight. No doubt about that. Although it's a bit easier to pick strategy when you're not having to worry about fuel stops, that's for sure.
Exactly.
100%. Hey, Aaron, just quickly, Oulton Park. I was talking to, obviously, Dylan about this a minute ago. Tight, narrow circuit. To me, that signals some form of danger when we get to this reverse grid race. How are you planning to attack it?
Yeah, that's it. It's there's pretty much only one line you can take through every single corner. And if you miss that line, you're no chance. So you really have to probably just pick one corner, probably the hairpin or the first one, and then that's it. Stick behind the person, don't hurt the car, and then just see what you can do.
As someone who has had his share of misfortunes as well as success so far this season, how important is it to minimise the points loss here and get a really good result in this second race?
Yeah, that's pretty much the game plan throughout the whole season, is just to make no mistakes whatsoever in the pit lanes or anything and just maximise it. I think that last race I didn't get an incident, so we're going to try that again and yeah, see how it goes.
All right, quick, mate. I'm running out of time. Some sponsor thank yous, please.
Yeah, get back to you on that one.
All right, come back and see us. Come back and see us at the end. Good luck.
Yeah.
Go well.
No worries. Cheers, boys.
And for the very same reason, Rainer Costello, you're coming back to see us at the end as well. But I'm running short for time for response. So thank you. However, a quick couple of comments about that race. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but that was your worst finish of the season thus far, and you're still on the podium. So you are racking up some form of run here.
Yeah, that's that's interesting when you think about it like that. But yeah, it was I did get a time good enough for pole, but I just scraped one of the tyre barriers through the chicane. So that gave me a 0x, so didn't get the pole. And around here, pretty hard to pass, so I just sort of stuck in behind, didn't try anything silly.
What did I tell you?
Sort of kept on pace with them for the first half of the race, but for the second half, we just backed off to bring home the 0x for the 5-point bonus.
And also, mate, I guess having a 16-point lead coming into this round, that is the slight, slender advantage that you have, in the sense that, you know, you can play it safe, tuck in behind, follow them home, and it's not going to do too much damage to your championship. However, when we get towards the back end of the season and the elbows are out, you'd attack it a little bit differently, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, I guess so to a certain degree, but yeah, 16 points definitely isn't a comfortable lead by any means. So I won't stop pushing this whole season. Didn't have as much time to practice this week because we were off doing some real life racing. But yeah, the pace is pretty good, and it's Oulton Park, a great track to drive the supercar around. It's real fun when you get it right, and sending it through the chicanes is great. So yeah, we'll see how we go on this second one. I hope to be back here, but yeah, we'll see. It'll be difficult.
Mate, you're coming back anyway because I want you to come back and give your sponsors a plug. We're going to let you go because we want to run through some championship points here. Go well.
Thanks, guys.
Winners are winners, mate. Well done.
Exactly right. He's the only forward on the podium. Good to see. Let's have a look at the race points and what that means as far as the championship is concerned. We'll be following that. So obviously, because it's a sprint round, it's only 1 point difference between each finishing position there. So 75 for Dylan Rudd, 74 for Aaron Dodd, 73 for Rainer Costello, and so on and so forth down to Alex Court on 66 points. And we'll let them roll through there for you very quickly. Chris Kisby, this second race, I'll tell you what, it's going to be on right from the start.
Well, did I pick it or did I pick it, mate? I sat there and we were just talking about intelligent racing. And it was intelligent racing from second and third there, not to get in the scraps, not to put themselves at jeopardy. And then, as it was stated, elbows are out. It's on for young and old in the second race. But they're still going to have to be careful. Yeah, mate, I may not be able to race, but geez, I could pick the strategies.
3 times in 5 minutes, Chris Kisby patting himself on the back. That might be a new record for us, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll tell you why.
Let's get to the grid for race 2 before we do that, because we're going to have to fly here, mate. I'll lead off with the first 6 rows. We'll get you to do the next 6, and hopefully we can race through it here. On the front row, on the back of all of that, will be Rick Sibra. Well, actually, Rick Sibra will be starting from pole, but Michael actually, no. There are 4 drivers that have copped a drive-through penalty in that first race, so they'll be starting from pit lane. They are namely cars 205, 63, 06, and 43. So that rules out a couple of them here. Brenton Nitschke will be on the grid, I do believe. Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer, Blake Warboys, Craig Neal, Brian Cooper, Sam Noble, Dean Reddit, and Lindsay Hobbs.
And then we got Dean Alessi, Ben Morris, Dylan Pereira, Simon Chadwick, Chris Barnes, Alan Dawson, Mitch Campbell, David Kirby, Rod Hollis, Rayhan Leonage, Hayden Norris, Craig Schultz.
Over the page then, Jamie Dyke, Alex Court, Robert Crisdale, Peter Crossing, and Matthew Scholes, Dean Powell, Sean McNamara, etc. and so forth. Away we go from Oulton Park. The reverse grid is underway in the Dragon RC Super Sprints. Round 5 of the RSRA Super Series. And it's a slow and moderate tempo that takes us towards the first corner, and Brendan Nitschke's got the jump cleanly. Now, it was Michael Angus, Rick Sibra, Blake Warboys, and Ben Morris that started from pit lane. They now join the field at the back. Double blow for them on a difficult night at the office, but we've got 20 laps for them to see if they can salvage something here. Now, look at this. Already some pressure being applied. Further back in the pack. Just trying to pick up. It's Craig Newell, Sam Noble and Lindsay Hobbs right behind him, I'd say. Now up and over the hill for the first time. And that's one of the great things about Oulton Park. For all the narrowness that we talk about, at least it's got character and undulation. And all those great things that racetracks of the modern era seem to lack as they make their way through for the first time. 20 to go, 19 and a half. Brenton Nitschke, the leader from Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer, Brian Cooper, then Craig Newell, Sam Noble, Lindsay Hobbs, Dean Reddit, Dean Alessi, and also Simon Chadwick, the top 10 at the moment. And, of course, the big losers in all of that, Ben Morris, Rick Sibra, Blake Warboys, and Michael Angus. Now, David Kirby and Rod Hollis are off the circuit. So, too, is Craig Newell. So, we've had a couple come unstuck here on the opening lap. We'll have a look on the NTS replay of what happened here. But not a good start for Rod Hollis, Craig Newell, and David Kirby. Let's have a look from on board with Craig Newell. Newell, I think, was separate to Kirby. I think the Kirby incident happened beforehand. Yeah, locked up at the end of the back straight there and into the wall. Craig Newell, he'll need to come back to the pit lane, I would think, with some damage. Actually, no, he's continued on. He has continued on. Hayden Norris is in the pit lane early, though. Not sure what happened to to Rod Hollis and David Kirby. We might try and chase that one up. But in the meantime, here's Dylan Pereira in 11th. So Brenton Nitschke already leading this race by half a second to Ash Davis. Jacob Brewer is third. Brian Cooper fourth. Sam Noble is fifth. And Lindsay Hobbs. Dean Reddit, Dean Alessi, Simon Chadwick and Mitch Campbell. We're looking for people like Rehan Leonage to come through the field. He's in 13th. Then we go back to Alex Court in 19th. Dylan Rudd is 20th. Sean McNamara 21st. Raina Costello 22nd. Cameron Jones 23rd. Aaron Dodd 24th at the moment. So Dodd's had more difficulty than others around in this opening lap. He's trying to navigate his way through the field. And of course, Warboys, after starting in the pit lane, is the best of those that started down in pit lane in 27th position at the moment. But, geez, there's already plenty of storylines emerging in this race, Chris Kisby.
Well, there are, and you got the top markers trying to get through the pack and make their way through to maximise the points within the race itself. Brett Nitschke's doing a great job out the front there, and he's, we may see some different names at the.
No!
What do we got?
That was Mitch Campbell having a big moment.
Just waiting for the replay to come through on that one. But as we said, it's going to be a race of just trying not to get into any trouble.
Here it is on replay. This is coming down to the end of the back straight. Dylan Pereira following him through, and there's Cam. Oh, gee. He did well to gather that up. Did well to gather that up indeed. Up start the rest for Jamie Dyke.
Wow, he's flying in amongst all that traffic.
Certainly is. And the other thing as well, Chris Kisby, is that we want to keep an eye on the likes of Rehan Leonage and Alex Court and Dylan Rudd. Rudd's through to 19th, Costello's 21st, Court is 18th at the moment, but it's just a freight train of cars. Our timing screen is lit up, orange and yellow at the moment, signalling that all these drivers are very tightly bunched. Trying to absorb all of this is part of the fun.
Well, it is. We're trying to keep an eye on where first, second, and third are coming through. Raina's we got a big slide just in front of Raina there. I'm not sure who it was. I didn't pick the number up.
Brenton Nitschke had an off track coming out of turn one here, but he's okay. We continue on the run down to turn two.
So you've got Rudd catching up on Court.
Yep.
You've got Costello catching up on Rudd. Aaron Dodd, he's stuck behind Craig Schultz. Sean McNamara in behind Aaron Dodd. So they're making their way slowly up through the pack. Now it is a 1-hour race, 20 laps, and it's been inverted. So these guys have got to make their way through these slower drivers. Young Rehan.
Yep.
Yeah, young Rehan. He's making his way up through as well. So in.
A little bit of hip and shoulder here. Have a look at this. Oh, wow. That's nice piece of driving, that is. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, off track. Craig Schultz. And there are a couple of others that were off track at the same point. Rick Sibra's off the circuit as well. They are going everywhere at the moment.
Oh.
And surprisingly, safety car free. Both races thus far. We're only 4 laps into this one, but geez.
Yeah, I thought we'd see one before now with a couple of instances we're having there. Dylan Rudd, he's doing a magnificent job getting these cars in between him and Rayner so that Rayner can't take advantage of anything that's coming up. And it looks like you got the 3 of them together again. Rudd, Costello, Dodd, making their way through the pack. And one by one, Craig Schultz hit the wall.
Oh, no. So Craig Schultz in the wall. And hopefully, well, as much as I was sitting here talking about we haven't had a safety car yet, hopefully Schultz can limp that back to pit lane, because the longer you go green, the harder it's going to be for the heavyweights, for the hot shots to work their way through the field. If they get a safety car and bunch the field back up again, they're going to have a chance.
Well, that's exactly right.
This is what happened to him, Kisby. Was there contact with his teammate? No, there wasn't. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
That's a strange incident, that one. And there's going to be a penalty here for the number 63 contact on the 88. The 63 is Blake Warboys. Remember that. He's on his way to pit lane for the 3rd time tonight. What a shocker of a moment at the office for Blake Warboys. Brenton Nitschke still leads Ash Davis. Jacob Brewer says something about Oulton Park. The fact that the guys at the front don't look like being caught at the moment. Now we're on board with the Ford of Warboys at the moment, who will serve another drive-through penalty.
What a move. You haven't seen it yet, guys, but if Mr. Race Director could get it there, Dylan Rudd got stuck behind Alex Court, I believe.
Yep, and Rayner Costello's got through. So Court 16th, Costello 17th, Dodd and Rudd 18th and 19th, and McNamara lurking with them in 20th. This is good stuff.
Yes, really good. Alex and Rayner. So.
Oh, wow! Blake Warboys with a big lock-up coming into the pit lane! Sliding across the control line. He must be frustrated. There's no doubt about that. That's the 3rd penalty he's had tonight. Some people don't get 3 penalties in a season. He's had them tonight.
He may have even picked another one up there.
Exactly.
Mr. Alex Court, how wide can you make that car?
And he's off the track now, actually, Kisby. Alex Court is off the track down to 21st position. There he is coming back on. And yes, he was making the track wide, but let's wait and see whether there was contact or whether he did it on his own. We'll have a look at the NCS replay, I'm sure, in just a moment. But in the meantime, he continues on a little bit frustratedly.
Out of the corner of my eye, I got that, and he was making it so hard for Rayner to get past, which is great.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. This is Rayner Costello. He's okay. Court's 2 up from him. With Rudd or Dodd, one of them, the 990, that's of course Rudd in behind. So if we have a look at Rudd and Court, we might have an indication of what happened to Court here.
Where I was talking about before was where Rudd got stuck behind Alex there, and Rayner was able to take advantage of it by the looks of it there. Hasn't come up yet.
No, not as yet. A little bit further down the road, I'd say. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Brenton Nitschke, Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer, and Brian Cooper, the top 4 at the moment. Lindsay Hobbs is 5th. A big mover so far. Rehan Leonage up 15 spots. Robert Christar up, 13 spots for Leonage, 15 for Christar, 12 for Dyke, 14 for Crossingham, 18 for Costello, Rudd, and Dodd, if you don't mind. 13 for McNamara, 6 for Court. Some big gains, equally some big losses as well. Hayden Norris, 11 lost. So too Rick Sibra, 31 lost, having been forced to start from pit lane. Craig Newell, 24 down. Blake Warboys, 22 down. So some big losers out there tonight, unfortunately. Michael Angus trying to salvage something, 25th at the moment.
I wonder what happened to Alex to be able to have to. He hasn't blown a motor, has he?
You can only hope not.
Because
He
that's
looks
slow
like him.
and have to get off the track because it looked like he was holding up Rayner there really, really well, and then all of a sudden he just pulled to the side and let him go. So something's gone wrong there.
Devastation for Alex Court. He'll be frustrated with this, no doubt. Oh no, off the circuit. That is Ben Morris around. And this. Oh, did he get a couple of helping hands, or did he do it all on his own? He did the second part all on his own, I think.
Yeah, second part. No.
Oh, no, we got poleaxe. He got poleaxe.
Tagged by the two behind.
And he'll be okay for the moment, Benny Morris. He'll get back on the track and get back going. We stay green. Right here on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. Now he's in more trouble. He's up the circuit again. This time in the gravel. When it's not your night, it's just not your night.
Well, that's exactly right.
Let's have a look at this again.
Chris Barnes.
Cameron Jones. Bang. There it is.
Look at young Rehan up in the 8th spot there. Doing great. Brett Niski doing a great job staying out the front there. Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer, Brian Cooper and Lindsay Holt, your top 5.
We're only on lap 8. We are only on lap 8, Kisby. That's the exciting thing in this.
It is.
We're only on lap 8. So much time to go. Rainer Costello trying to work his way through here. I think these guys, even though Rainer Costello is up there in position number 14 now, ahead of Crossingham, Dodd, Rudd and McNamara, I think he can forget about the win. Brenton Nitschke seems to be doing a very good job of keeping his field under control.
Never say never.
I hope I'm wrong. It'd be an awesome performance if he can get the job done, but by gee, it's going to be hard. Look at that.
Driving.
Beautiful move down the inside. Can he get the job done on Chris Barnes? Here we go.
No, he can't.
Barnes was not willing to let him through, and Rayner was content to tuck back in. Now he won't be. He'll force it down the inside this time.
Oh.
What great driving from this pair. Barnes not giving an inch.
No.
Costello doing well not to make contact.
He did all that great work to get Crossingham in between him and Dodd, and now...
Got him now. Got him now.
Yep, got him.
And the 747, well, 737, I should say, of Aaron Dodd will go with him.
Behind you. Yep.
747, I'm thinking flight. I haven't been on a flight in 18 bloody months.
I haven't been on a 747 in years.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, off the circuit. There he is. And the 79. Oh no! It's gone as well! They're both back on the track, but Chadwick and Leonage have come together. And Leonage's top 10 charge is over. Oh, this is madness. Let's have a look at that. Yeah. Oh, bang.
Just
way.
There was no way Noni was going to get him through there.
Well, especially when he caught the grass.
No. So, here they come.
I'll tell you what, round points are going to be exceptionally interesting here, Chris Kisby.
They are. They are.
Especially with Rainer Costello pushing for another 0x race. That'll be 10 bonus points for the night.
Up to P10.
He didn't get the pole position bonus points, but hey, why not? Let's go. He's in 10th. Green the West be the next target. Whoa, indeed. Aaron Dodd's right there. This is on. And Rudd's got too far away. Rudd's just got to clear Reddit first, and then he'll be with the two of them. To go like scalded cats here, side by side, through the back section of the circuit. How good's this?
So the further they get up the field, the harder it's going to be to pass, because they're getting up to the faster drivers and the more confident drivers that are going to sit there and make these cars as wide as they possibly can. They may come up against a teammate of the car behind. I'm not real familiar with who the teammates are of Dodd and Rudd, but he may come up against them. So let's see what happens. They're going up into Yeah, look at that.
Oh, boy.
for a
Very-
move.
yeah. Hey, no rear wing on the Crystal entry either, so he's had some hip and shoulder along the way.
That'll slow
Now,
him
Rudd,
down.
Rudd gets by Alessi. Rudd gets by Alessi. Dodd, Costello, his next targets now. Oh, Michael Angus is off the circuit as well, now back on. And
Jamie
he's dropped
Dyke
down to
next
24th
target.
position. Brenton Nitschke continues to lead at the front. No change there. Ash Davis is second. Jacob Brewer, Lindsay Hobbs, Brian Cooper the top five. That has remained, I should say, pretty static, pretty status quo from the outset tonight. Rainer Costello's got a charge though.
Race this time.
Absolutely. Having a great race, Kisby.
Having a great race this time. He was in the wars the first race, but up to P2, into P2. So he's up 3 positions.
I don't want to say it, but they need a safety car the top 3 if they're going to catch the
Wow.
yeah.
Look at the battle
So,
going on between 555 and 080.
Whoa, there we go down the inside. Oh, go
Yeah,
Crystal! Robert Crystal off the circuit. Jamie Dyke.
Stay off. Don't cause any more hassle.
And
Well,
Robert Crystal drops
Good
a
job.
bunch of spots. Down to
Good
19th
job, Robert.
and all of that. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Crystal was looking so good.
yeah, how hard is it to keep control of your cars so that you don't cause damage to any other cars? That is just a great job. I applaud you, Robert Christo. Great racing there. Great car control.
And Jamie Dyke may feel as though he was at fault there because he's just dropped down to 13. Maybe trying to redress. I don't know. Maybe trying to redress. But in saying that, that means that Costello is 7th. Dodd is 8th. Rudd is 9th. However, and I stress, however, they are 5.7 seconds behind Sam Noble. Or is it? No, sorry, it's the other way around. They are 5.7 seconds behind Brian Cooper. So Sam Noble is their next target. Sam Noble is their next target. They are all over the back of him at the moment. Then they go out in pursuit of Brian Cooper. Down the inside goes Costello. Up the outside. Up the outside goes Noble. And now through the middle comes Dodd. Oh, boy. It's on. It's on.
Smart
Costello clears them.
Come on, Aaron, smart driving.
And in all of that, Noble just says, look, you guys want it more than I do. I'll let you go. And he tucks back in to position number 9. So Costello 6, Dodd 5th. Dodd 7th. Rudd 8th. So the reverse at the top 3 in the first race. 6th, 7th, and 8th at the moment. Brenton Nitschke continues to lead. Now it's 5.6 seconds down the road to Brian Cooper here. And that could be the problem.
So now these
Does
three
they
are
run
racing
and
together.
now, or can they work together? Exactly right, Chris Kisby. Can they work together to close that 5-second deficit between now and the end of the race? There are 8 laps to go after the one we are on. They have got plenty of time. And as I said earlier, a late race safety car would very much help them right here. It is all
I haven't
happening.
seen one now, unless the track becomes completely blocked. I don't think we get. Oh, Rainer, a bit of a lock up there. Yeah, we're not going to see one because there seems to be just enough room to keep the cars off the track and clear so that they can keep running.
So it is Brenton Nitschke in position at number 1, having a great run out as the race leader. Car 06, misuse of comms. Lap 12, drive through penalty. Car 06, misuse of comms. Rick Sibra, second penalty of the night for Sibra. And race control again. They're pretty strict on a lot of things in this series. Misuse of comms is one of them. We saw Alex Court pinged for that a couple of weeks ago, even though it was a post-race one. And again, it's about being consistent, Kisby, and you can't blame race control. They don't sit on the fence here. They don't take sides. They straight down the line.
As I know. Yeah, and I love to see it because whether you're right or wrong, you make the decision, and 9 times out of 10 you'll find that if you go back and look at the replay, we're right.
Yeah. Using the colloquial "we" is Chris Simpson. I like it.
Aaron Dodd all over
now,
the back of Rainer.
there's another one. Car 196. That, I believe, I'm right in saying, is Cameron Jones. Yep, he's going to get pinged for a pit lane penalty as well because of contact on Ben Morris. So Cameron Jones is coming to pit lane as well. He won't have to worry about post-race interviews now. He's not going to be here.
That's for sure.
Sorry, my apologies. That was a pre-race discussion before we were on air, folks. My apologies. We're at 14 of 20. Truth be told, Cameron's off to the airport after this race. He would not have been able to be in the post-race show. That's what that's about, ladies and gentlemen.
That's it.
If he was getting there. But he's not going to get there now with that drive-through penalty. Exactly. He's off to the airport. Lucky him, in lockdown, off to the airport. How good's that? Now, Rayner in 6th position. They are charging towards 5th. Number 957 now.
3 seconds behind.
Simon Chadwick for the contact on Rehan Leonage, ending Leonage's charge, of course. He now cops a drive-through penalty as well. So 3 drivers in the space of about a minute and a half have copped the ultimate whack around the knuckles, and they are on their way to pit lane. Now, here's Rayner. Sitting 6th at the moment. Brian Cooper is 5th. Then Lindsay Hobbs is 4th. This, I don't mind telling you, could well be for round honours. Because if Rayner can get a 0x in both races, he's going to take 10 bonus points away tonight.
But he can get a car
along,
between him and Aaron and
exactly.
Dylan, and that'll go his way as well. So,
yep.
So you got to look at the points. So if he can catch up to Brian Cooper, get around it. They're down to 2 seconds behind Brian Cooper now. And if he can get him in behind him there for that last lap, and hopefully Brian will drive like crazy and keep Aaron and Dylan behind, then that will work in Rayner's favour. But if Dylan and Aaron can get past, then it all flips around. So
absolutely.
This race is not going to be over until the absolute final lap.
Until the fat lady sings on lap 20 of 20. The fat lady won't be singing prematurely tonight. Don't worry about that.
No,
Lap 15 of 20. Brenton Nitsky, Ash Davis, the top 2. Then Jacob Brewer in 3rd. But Ash Davis has closed to within about 3/4 of a second of Brenton Nitsky right now. It is all happening at Oulton Park.
Nitsky, Davis, Brewer, Hobbs, Cooper, your top 5. Stello, Dodd, Rudd, McNamara, Noble, Alessi, down to P11. Chris Barnes.
Hang on, we've got a massive crash. We've got the 74's involved, the 63's involved. Blake Warboys is there, Dean Power as well. Let's have a look at this. Alex Court went down the inside.
Inside.
He got turned by. He got turned by his teammate. Rehan Leonage, and then bang, Blake Warboys.
Is this the yellow that you're looking for?
I don't think so. They've managed to clear it. I think we're okay. Riley Windsor, I missed the sound of Chris Kisby on a Tuesday night. Good evening to you, Riley. Nothing about Zach, because Zach's always here on a Tuesday night, but thankfully the network is working in Tasmania this evening. The link is working fine. Good to have him back.
Message come up there.
Absolutely.
I was mentioned in a minute. So we'll see what that's all about. I don't bother going to those while I'm sitting there trying to... My name's Chris Kisby, not Zach Kay, but I can't look at five things at once. I can only look at 3.
Well, now, it's interesting to point out too, if they finish like this, because it's the reverse of the top 3 in race 1 that we're looking at here, and it's 1 point the difference, everything's going to be decided on countback as far as the round's concerned, unless we're talking about bonus points. If bonus points don't split them as far as the round's concerned, countback will, because they are even on points right now as far as just the race results are concerned.
Wow.
And that is important to note. So let's just have a look at this. Brian Cooper. Rayner Costello is 6th. So that's 70 points, 69, 68. To go with their 75, 4 and 3 earlier, they're all line astern even. I
knew we'd get your brain working somehow tonight, Zach.
It is incredibly tight. And again, it just comes back to countback. And that's incident points. That's qualifying. Now we know that Rudd's got pole.
Right, so they've got onto the back of Brian Cooper too. by the way.
Yep, it's about Costello then and what he can do. So Dylan Rudd gets the 5 points for pole. Costello got a clean race in race 1. Not sure about Rudd and Dodd, but Costello got a clean race in race 1.
So if Costello, if Rhoda can get on the back of Brian Cooper here, how hard do Dodd and Rudd have to push to make sure they get past at the same time Rayner does? Let's see where the tactics come in here.
Exactly right. An inch could be as good as a mile here for Rayner Costello. And there are the next 2 targets, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen. How good is this? This is just
Rayner's
an impressive, incredible charge.
Rayner can choose where he passes.
Yep.
Whereas the others,
here we go. Down the inside. No, there's a touch.
oh,
There's a touch between Dodd and Rudd and Costello. And the fireworks have let off. Both Rudd and Dodd gang up on Costello and get through. And that'll bring the clean race undone. Oh, are you kidding me? Now the 080 is going to get a drive-through penalty for contact on the 555. I mean, it was a fair move, Kisby. It was well and truly on. And Aaron Dodd has pulled it off. Have a look at this on the NCS replay, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, but was it a fair move?
Unbelievable. It was forceful. It was very, very forceful.
I'm on this in my racing all the time about guys putting their nose in where they shouldn't be, and that forces the guy to go defensive.
Let's have a look down the inside. Was it a legitimate clean move? Oh, jeez.
Oh,
It was forceful, and okay. Rayner loses 2 places out of that, but I'm interested to see what race control has to say.
yeah,
If
I
anything.
am too on that one. Rayner did leave a gap, so
Absolutely.
that would be my point. Would be that whether Aaron had control of the car coming into the corner,
Yeah, copy that.
and so we'll see what happens.
What a moment from Aaron Dodd. He was sliding through, and he's let Rayner Costello back, and Costello's all over the back of Rudd now. So Dodd has conceded on that one. So now, here's
Don't
the
let
thing
the
of
red
where.
mist come in, Rayner.
Right.
Don't let the red mist come in.
Let me tell you this, Kisby.
You won't be happy with that move.
Now that Rudd leads the pack, he's got a 2-point advantage on the 2 boys behind him, both Dodd and Costello, because Dodd was second in race 1 and Costello was third in race 1. And now they're second and third. So it's a 2-point advantage, maybe 3, that, it's going to be a 3-point advantage that Rudd enjoys on Dodd and Costello. So a 3-point power play there, courtesy of Dodd, for Dylan Rudd.
Yeah.
That is huge because, again, when we're talking about points, minimal, like single-digit points, as far as the round is concerned, an inch is as good as a mile, and Dylan Rudd could be singing the praises of Aaron Dodd tonight. There's no doubt about that. It could be Dylan Rudd's payday. We'll wait and see. Whoa, Dean Alessi.
Off the track.
Dylan Pereira, what about that for a charge? Up around the outside of Dean Alessi. So Pereira goes up into 12th, Alessi back to 13th. Noble is 14th in all of that. Rehan Leonage 15th. Michael Angus has charged back to 17th in all of this. We're on lap 19 of 20 all of a sudden. Rayner Costello looking for a way back by Dylan Rudd. And this is for a top 5 finish. But they're trying to go with Lindsay Hobbs as well. Hobbs is holding on to 4th. Forget about the top 3. They're not going to catch them. This is all about 4th position right now. It's a 4-way fight. Round honours on the line right here.
Oh, do you want any more exciting racing, Zach? It's just unbelievable. These guys trying. Oh, there's Dylan Rudd all over the back.
Yep, watch this.
Poor Lindsay Hobbs.
This is Rudd trying to get the round. Out the outside, down the inside, beautifully executed.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, goes Aaron Dodd. Second time tonight he's made contact with Rayner Costello, but this time Costello's unimpeded. Although Costello hasn't been able to get away by Hobbs yet, so therefore, advantage Dylan Rudd. Rudd is 4th, Hobbs is 5th, Costello 6th, and now Aaron Dodd is 9th. All right, that sorts him out of the equation. He won't be winning the round tonight. It's between Rudd and Costello now, and it could still be something that's decided on countback of clean races. Let's have a look at this. Costello up on the inside. Oh, wow. That was, yeah, it was contact with Rainer Costello, all right, but it was from Aaron Dodd. And it's Aaron Dodd that pays the price this time round.
Rainer's trying to get past Lindsay Hobbs for the second time.
And that, he's got him. Now he goes out in pursuit. Oh, no, Hobbs has got him back. Now Costello gets him back again. We keep our eyes on that battle whilst we look at the front. Have a look at this. So Costello and Hobbs are arguing over fifth. It looks like Costello's got it done. But look at this at the front. Ash Davis all over the back of Brenton Nitschke. This is for the round, for the race win, ladies and gentlemen. This would be our third different race winner of the season, our second different winner of the night. And Brenton Nitschke may well be paying us a visit in the broadcast booth sooner than he anticipated. Remember at the start of the season, he came in had a chat to us. He said, maybe later in the season, I'll see you. We're not halfway through yet. Right. Brenton Nitschke is on his way to victory lane.
What a drive.
This is extraordinary. And he's led from the start. He's a newcomer to the RSRA Super Series this season, and he has put on an experienced performance tonight. Handled it like a pro. The pressure are leading from the front, and he will come home to take the checkered flag and grab the race win at Oulton Park. Brenton Nitschke joins the winners list in the RSRA Super Series in emphatic style, led from start to finish. And look, hey, great challenge from Ash Davis, Chris Kisby, but what a way to handle the pressure and to grab your first win. Brenton Nitschke take a bow, and the FORDs finish the night on top.
Oh, can't wait to chat to him when he comes into the commentary here. But what a
race!
Wow. Nitschke, Davis, Brewer, Rudd, Costello. There's your top five. Hobbs, Cooper, McNamara, Dodd and Crossingham are your next five and your top 10. And we're just waiting to confirm the results there.
Well, yeah, race control may even have to apply a couple of post-race penalties here based on what we saw in the last couple of laps. But well done. Well done to Brenton Nitschke. That was a fantastic performance. I mean, we didn't see much of him during that race. We were too focused on Costello, Rudd, Hobbs, and Dodd. But Brenton Nitschke gets to the front. Not many people handle the pressure of being at the front, leading the field, knowing that you've got the target on your back and everyone's coming for you. But he ran faultlessly tonight. That was clinical. For a newcomer to our series to answer the challenge like that and score one for the back markers, if you like, because he hasn't been at the pointy end all season. That's a great race win.
Well, that's the thing.
Really good stuff.
Exactly. It's one thing to start at the front of a race. It's another thing to finish the race at the front. And he's done it really, really well on this particular. He's driven an absolute outstanding race. Had a bit of pressure from Ash Davis there at the back. There's another one. He's recovered from the first race. So that both these boys have recovered really, really well from the first race. Got their mind set back into racing, and it's paid for them. Look at that. 1, 2.
Hey.
And go for it, Brenton.
Light it up.
Mate. Yep, that's it. Light it up. Perfect circles. Look at that. See, who said you couldn't do perfect circles on it with a V8?
Well, he just clattered the wall, but yeah, okay.
I'll take Ford. Yeah, well, he did the first 3 perfect.
Crank up the volume and enjoy the celebrations here, folks. Brenton Nitschke lighting it up at Oulton Park.
Waiting for the results to come up on screen for us.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the celebration too much at the moment, to be honest with you. Brenton Nitschke, nicely done. First time in victory lane and one of the best burnouts of the season. Fantastic. He'll join us in just a moment. Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer standing by as well. We'll get our round top 3 in here in just a moment as well. In the meantime, Brenton Nitschke, 1.3 seconds in the end from Ash Davis. Jacob Brewer was third, then Dylan Rudd. Well done. In fourth place. They fought back well, those top 3 from the opening.
Dylan
Rudd gets the job done again. Rainer Costello, then Lindsay Hobbs, Brian Cooper, Sean McNamara, then Aaron Dodd. He'll be kicking himself with that. Peter Crossingham rounded out the top 10. Over the page we go. Chris Kisby.
As we go over the page, we have Dylan Pereira, Dean Reddit, Dean Alessi, Ryan Leonard, Sam Noble, Michael Angus, Matthew Scholes, Alan Dawson, Craig Schultz, Simon Chadwick down to position 20.
Notice that as well. Race 1, and the reason why I, happily split the field here with Chris Kisby this time around is because we're a little bit more time friendly this time, or time poor first up. But what I will say, look at the difference. There was no difference in race 1 to race 2. In race 1, 3 Fords in the top 10, and then 7 Holdens, and 6 in the 11 to 20 bracket Holdens, 4 Fords. Exactly the same in race 2. Exactly the same in race 2. Different drivers and different order, but hey, I mean, the Holdens have had a fair stranglehold on the top 20 tonight. Jamie Dyke, then Rod Hollis. Then we go back to Hayden Norris, Mitch Campbell, David Kirby, Craig Newell, then Cameron Jones, Robert Crisdale with Chris Barnes 1 lap down, and Dean Powell not making it to the end there, 4 laps down. Over the page again, Alex Court, shocker of a night for him, Blake Warboys as well, and then Rick Sibra, Ben Morris, again, look at that. I mean, Dean Powell, Court, Warboys, Sibra, and Morris, 5 retirements in that race. Really disappointing for those guys. Right, let's drag some winners in here and have a chat to them. Chris Kisby, your thoughts on all of that first and foremost. Well done to all the drivers, because let's be honest,
It is.
We probably didn't expect, we probably anticipated a safety car tonight, and we did not get one.
No, we didn't, and it could be because of the runoffs, and they were able to stay out. But I think I mentioned it through the race there. A couple of the guys were able to control their car once they came off to not wreck. Others weren't doing that, but we still weren't. We still were able to avoid the yellow car. But as I say, my thoughts: an absolutely cracking race. What a comeback by the top 3 there to recover their composure, to especially for Nishki and actually Ash Davis, Brenton. Great racing, great driving there to keep 1 and 2 there from the first race, which wasn't, let's face it, disappointing because you're at the front because you were at the back in the last race. But what a race, what a way to stay out the front there. And I enjoyed every second of watching those guys out the front, as well as the guys coming through and trying to chase them down.
Hey, just quickly too, I want to send our condolences and our thoughts to the members of the Ipswich Kart Club and the Queensland karting community, because the sad news came through on Sunday night, and it's just been confirmed by the Ipswich Kart Club today. But the great, well-known, well-respected Alf Capri passed away after a battle with illness over the course of the weekend. Of course, if you've been to the Ipswich Kart Club, you'll know that the main straight is named after Alf Capri. It's called the Capri Straight. No doubt there'll be tributes at the upcoming Ipswich Club Day, July 31, August 1. But our thoughts are with everyone.
Our carters will know that name very well, and my condolences go out to them as well.
In fact, Rainer Costello will hopefully come back in here and join us with the top 3 for the round, and he might even have a couple of things to say about that. But our thoughts with everyone feeling for the loss of Alf Capri at the moment. Also, our thoughts with all of the South Australians being sent to their rooms, sent to solitary confinement for 7 days, joining Victoria and New South Wales in the same boat. Chris Kisby's lapping up life in Tasmania at the moment, but he's not getting any visitors, any tourists at the moment. Now let's get into the post-race show here. We'll get our top 3 for the round back very shortly as well. But first, get your hands out and smash them together, ladies and gentlemen, because that was a superb performance from Brenton. Brenton, we mentioned it on the last lap. Mate, we were half expecting you to come back and visit us at some point this season. We didn't know whether it'd be a reverse grid race or a sprint round or an enduro or whatever the case may be. You said maybe towards the back end of the season. We're not halfway through yet, mate, and you're in victory lane. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was definitely a tough race, but I suppose that's what you get when you have a bad one, reverse grid one. So it's worked out all right for us tonight. It was a tough race, being chased down. I thought I handed it to Ash there on lap 16, I think it was. I got in the grass and put her sideways, but managed to keep hold of it and push on
We
forward.
did see
And,
that, mate. We did see that.
yeah, I was a bit worried. I thought it was all over there, so I was lucky to hang on. And yeah, no, I've had a pretty poor start to the season, so this is good to get one on the board.
Talk us through the race, mate, because I mean, obviously, race 1 was a shocker. Talk us through that firstly, and then talk us through race 2, because I mentioned it as you were coming to the line. You handled the pressure of being the leader with the target on the back, with everyone chasing you down or trying to chase you down. You handled it like a seasoned pro, and yet you're a relative newcomer to the RSRA Super Series.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, firstly, first race, I think it was, what do we lap? The first lap there, turn 2, just car spun in front, tagged him, and then I got hit from behind and sent into the weeds, and that was pretty much over. Sent back to the back of the field and just pretty much circulated for the rest of the first race. So, yeah, pressure coming up from behind. Oh, it was probably a second and a half between myself and Ash pretty much the whole race. So couldn't let off for a second and managed to bring it home, which was good. Without, obviously I had a bit of a mishap there in about lap 16. But to manage to get back past when Ash made a similar mistake going through the S's there.
Interesting, because he's just dobbed himself in. We didn't even see it. We were so enthralled in what was happening behind you guys, because round honors were on the line with Rainer Costello and Dylan Rard and Aaron Dodd going toe-to-toe, that we didn't even notice that you actually lost the lead there momentarily. But, hey, pressure's a funny thing. Ash Davis got to the front, as you say, and then, you were able to get him back. But what a race it was from you, mate. Obviously, on a normal night, reverse grid racing wouldn't do you that much of a favour, but obviously to undo the misfortunes of race 1, that's a nice way to at least limit the damage of the night.
Yeah, it was, and obviously being Oulton Park, very hard to pass. So always thinking they're the fast boys. We were going to find it hard to get through the field, which was the case. But I see there's a few there that managed to get a fair way back up the grid. So just managed to hold on in then.
I'm going to jump
on that one. I was going to ask. Oh, yep, go for it, Zach.
Yeah, no, I'll come back to you in a moment, kids, but you've got the next question here, no doubt about that. But I was just going to say apologies in advance to the director, because we're going to try and get out of here at 10:15 tonight. I can't see that happening. It's only 9:50, and we're only into the first interview, and we've got about 6 of them to do. But Kisby, you wanted to ask Brenton a question?
Yeah, both Brenton and Ash can answer it when he comes through. How much pressure does it put on when you know the P1, 2, 3 are coming up through the pack like that, and you wouldn't expect them to get there that quick, but there was about 4 laps to go, and they were coming hard. And does that put a lot more pressure on you guys at the front there to try and keep them at bay?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I was pretty much just looking forward and looking at the relative, and obviously you can only see 3 cars or so in your relative. Yeah. So I couldn't see further back, so I'm like out of mind. So I wasn't really thinking about it. But then you slowly see them catch up, and it's like, yep, better keep pushing the laps through. So, but you can't really do much about it. Once they catch you, they catch you.
Let me just jump in there too, guys. Breaking news from here: 9 cars with 0 incidents in the first race, none, unsurprisingly, in the second. None in the second. So therefore, the old bonus points get applied for race 1, but not race 2. We'll have all the championship points for you very shortly. Brenton, let me come back to you, and then we'll bring Ash and Jacob in, and we'll have to get the top 3 for the round back as well. I hope they're aware of that, because we said we'd get them to come back and thank their sponsors. But in the meantime, I think 2 things there, Brenton. One, obviously you mentioned it, the tight overtaking, the tight nature of the circuit, the limited overtaking opportunities as a result of that, as a consequence of the tight real estate. But secondly, the fact that we went through caution free and the field didn't get a chance to bunch up. So as soon as you guys built a gap, it started to become pretty clear to us at the start of the second half of the race there that the top 3 for the round, or the top 3 in race 1 that were trying to work their way back through the field, they weren't going to be able to catch you unless you guys ended up off the circuit in retirement or having a crash and coming unstuck.
Yeah, definitely. Like, without a safety car is always going to help us, because obviously they're going to make their way through the whole field. And as you know, after lap 1, the field spreads out a fair bit straight away. So you've you've got sort of 10 seconds there straight away, unless they do an awesome first lap and get past half the field, which if they did, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's definitely on your mind as you're racing, thinking when they're coming, where they are, and if there's a safety car, it's the last thing you want when you're obviously in front and you've got a bit of a gap. You don't want to see that disappear. So I was
All right.
lucky we didn't get one today, because I would have thought there would have been one in both races. But
Yeah,
was
well,
good.
I think we all had the same thought, but sometimes the best laid plans don't come to fruition, and are probably a good thing tonight, because even without the safety car, the racing was sensational. Brenton, stay there with me. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Chris Kisby, let's get Ash Davis in here now. Second in that race for the 955. Mate, nice to see you back on the podium. Nice to see you back in the comm booth at the end of a broadcast here, at the end of a race. That looked like hard work.
Yeah, I was a bit upset to throw it away. I was sort of thinking coming into that last chicane, don't touch tires, and just clipped them, and I think it stuck me into them, and yeah, just wasn't enough to stay in front of Brenton, and yeah, sort of back in within half a second in that last lap, but pretty hard to pass around here, so yeah, second's still good, and for a reverse grid race, I don't think it would have felt like a real anyway if it was a win, so still happy for the points after a pretty average start to this season.
Well, that's a fair point as well, mate. If we have a look at your first race, though, let's talk through that. Obviously, didn't go to plan, ended up 31st. That obviously gave you a top end of town start for the second race. That's never the way you want to get them, though. I
think 22nd or 23rd. I was up to 13th, I think, mid-race, and then just got tagged and turned around, and before you know it, you're at the back, and I stayed. So
exactly,
race probably wasn't too bad. But
no, not at all. Let's just quickly talk about the 22nd. How difficult was it to try and get a clean lap in quali?
Well, actually, I probably didn't get a clean lap in until there was probably 8 minutes left, I think, or 7 minutes left. So yeah, it was really hard.
And that speaks volumes of the nature of the Oulton Park circuit. However, next week, ladies and gentlemen, different qualifying procedure. I can tell you right off the top here. More on that before we sign off tonight, because we've got to preview next week's Chicago Street Circuit outing, the first and only enduro at the end of the RSRA Super Series for season 2 right here. Now, just getting a message through at this point in time. Round points and championship points done. Maybe if we can chase up the top 3 for the round and get them back in here too, JP, before we do bring them up on the screen, because we're going to have a chat to the top 3 for the round. Ash, just going back to you, mate. 22nd down to 30. I mean, again, your charge through was brilliant. Unfortunately, that tag that you mentioned brings you unstuck. Then it was a case of, for that second race, limiting the damage of the night from a points perspective. As you said, not the best start of the season, but then to go out net 74 points on the back of a disappointing haul in race 1. What do you take out of the night? Is it a pass? Is it a fail? Would you have liked more points? What do you make of the night, mate?
You can't complain about walking away with a podium at the end of the night, I suppose.
Well, that's true.
And the last, what is it? What are we at? This round 5, I think. And I don't think I've had any top 10s or anything this season. Whereas end of last season, I had a podium and pretty much all top 10s. So it's been a little bit frustrating to get back into the spot where I feel like I should be. So yeah, it's good to get one up in there.
Indeed it is, mate. Well done. Stay with us, because we'll roll through the motions here. We'll get you guys to thank some sponsors and everything else. The top 3 for the round. We spoke to them after race 1, and they said, we haven't got our sponsor list on us at the moment. Can we come back to you? Yeah, sure, no worries. They haven't come back yet, but we'll give them their rightful airtime when they do. In the meantime, let's bring in Jacob Brewer at this point in time. Again, a case of what might have been. Jacob, 20th on the grid, 30th in race 1. That puts you at the front of the field for race 2. At least you converted it this time round. Did you feel the pressure? Because obviously at the end of the day, you weren't able to, in the end, get away around Ash Davis or Brenton Nitschke, but you also had a couple of guys trying to chase you down, and they ran out of time in the end.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't really feel much pressure, because my season so far has been horrible. So I went into tonight just hoping to get through both races incident free, not really worry about where I finished. And that came unstuck on turn 2 in the first race. Had nowhere to go, and then the second race, starting out near the front, I was just like, I'll follow them, and then every now and again when they started battling, I get right up behind them. I'm like, oh, should I have a go? I'm like, no, it'd be nice just to finish a race without having any contact or getting run off the road. So I'm wrapped with P3, and I have to admit I was getting a bit nervous because I was in the Discord with Rayner, and Rayner's getting updates, and I'm hearing how fast he's coming through the field, and I'm like, Rayner's going to get me by the end of the year, and I'm going to have to deal with 4th. But I was lucky enough that I managed to hang on to P3.
Well, speaking of Raider, he's just joined us in the booth, so we'll get to him in just a moment, and we appreciate him coming in so late because it is past his bedtime. Dylan Rudd's coming in. Aaron Dodd will be here in just a moment as well. Ray, I do believe, are the top 3 for the round without having seen the points. We'll get those up on the screen in just a moment, as well as the championship as well. But before that, let's continue here with Jacob Brewer. Qualifying for you, mate. Again, I asked Ash Davis the question, how hard was it to try and get a clean lap out there?
I was fairly lucky. I just couldn't put a lap together. Every time I'd get half a second up or something on my time, and I'd make a mistake or just run off the road or just do something silly. So it was just more on me, to be honest. I managed to somehow find enough room to get my laps fairly clean, but just didn't have enough talent.
Brutal honesty from a race car driver. It's nice to see. I like it. That being said, obviously, again, minimise the damage of the evening by at least converting a front row or front of grid start into a finish in the second race. So again, it's a glass half full sort of outcome, but eyes forward for the rest of the season. What are you hoping to achieve from here, mate?
Just hoping to get some speed back in and get a bit more comfortable. I'm struggling under the brakes lately, so just get a bit more comfortable and start moving back forward. And I need to get my qualifying right. This season's been pretty average for my qualifying, so I'm qualifying down the back, and that's where most of the incidents happen. So I've really got no one else to blame so far. So I need to get a bit more practice in and start getting a bit closer to the front.
Here's a replay of that second race for you guys. Courtesy of SimShed Broadcasting. For those of you just joining us, we're talking with the top 3 for both the race and the round here on the back of this 5th round of the RSRA Super Series. And, of course, with thanks to the great people at Dragon RC, the Super Sprint from here at Oulton Park on the back of 4 cracking sprint races so far to start the season. We've now had our first Super Sprint. There's still 1 Super Sprint to come. And then there's 2 longer sprint races for the end of the season as well at Mount Panorama. But next week is the first of the Enduros. I'm going to get all these guys' thoughts on that very shortly. In the meantime, the top 3 for the round join me, so it's probably an opportune moment to have a look at the round points if we can, JP. And Chris Kisby's back with us as well. He's got a couple of questions, no doubt, to fire away here in just a moment. There you go. Wow. Dylan Rudd wins the round by 8 points.
Ooh.
And you can thank the bonuses for that, as well as the fact that he was able to capitalise on late race incident between Dodd and Costello. And he wins the round by 8 points ahead of Rainer Costello 149 and Aaron Dodd on 146 points. Crossingham, McNamara, Scholes, then Leonage, despite 2 separate incidents in 2 races. Lindsay Hobbs, Cameron Jones, Craig Schultz made up the top 10 there. Jones over Schultz on count back over the page. Dean Powell also on 121 points. Look at the amount of drivers on 120 for the night. Dean Reddit, Dylan Pereira, Jamie Dyke, Rod Hollis, you're kidding me. And then 3-way tie on 119 with 2 of the guys. Well, actually, look at that. All 3 men in the room for 1, 2, 3 in the second race. Tied on points on 119. Ash Davis, Brenton Hitchkin, Jacob Brewer. So we talk about damage control. Well, you know, when you finish on the same amount of points as the guys around you, it's not too bad a night at the office. Look at that. 118 for Brian Cooper and 116 for Alan Dawson. I'm getting far too excited about points ties here. 116 for David Kirby and Dean Alessi, as well as Hayden Norris. So that's a 4-way tie for 20th. It's like going through the golf, isn't it? It's almost like we should just put them in alphabetical order and be done with it. 115 for Robert Crisdale, 112 for Simon Chadwick, 111 for Mitch Campbell and Sam Noble, 104 for Chris Barnes, 103 for Michael Angus, and 98 for Craig York. And then over the page. Alex Court, 66 points, damaging night at the office for him. The DNF in the second race really hurts. And Morris also 54 points. Blake Warboys 47 points. So all of a sudden, the championship has received a very big shake-up tonight. I'll come to our round winners in just a moment, and I know Rainer Costello's on borrowed time, but on the back of that, I don't think we can go any further without having a look at those championship points if we can, JP. Let's have a look at this. Wow. Costello still holds the lead, but they've got, they've got breathing space now between Dylan Rudd and the rest of the pack. Have a look at that. So Costello 752 and Rudd 744. That battle resumes next week. Cannot wait for that. The boys are here. We'll get their thoughts in just a moment. Matthew Scholes now, third on 676. Rehan Leonage on 666 in fourth. And Peter Crossingham makes up the top five, 648. Dean Red at 643. Alex Court, costly night at the office now. 111 points away from Rainer Costello. That's an inch as good as a mile for Costello. He's almost got the better part of a race. So too Dylan Rudd on Alex Court there. Mitch Campbell, 617. So too Dylan Pereira. And Jamie Dyke on 610 points makes up the top 10. Blake Warboys drops to 11th in all of that. Costly night at the office for a couple of contenders that have been on the podium, have been at the pointy end of town in the championship. And that's the beauty of reverse grid races, Chris Kisby. It throws the cat amongst the pigeons as much as it shakes things up in a good way for Rainer Costello and Dylan Rudd. They've got breathing space in the pack. It's a two-horse fight. But for the rest of the field, there's a bit of work to do.
Yes, it does throw the cat amongst the pigeons when you start looking at getting 0 points and low points in a split round. You've really got to maximise your points from race 1 to race 2, and the guys did that tonight. 1, 2, 3. They maximised their points as far as they could go, and it was. Look, I'm still trying to come down. I'm going to go and practice Formula V's shortly, and around Oulton Park or whatever, and I'm still hyped up about watching these guys drive through the pack and stay at the front. So that's the 3, 1, 2, 3, Rainer, Aaron and Dylan, and then drive through the pack, as well as Ash, Brent and Jacob at the front there. So I'm still trying to come down from that so that I can handle my little Formula V. So great racing tonight. Absolutely fantastic racing.
Let me start with Aaron Dodd. A couple of unfortunate moments there in the back end of that race, mate. Cost you a top 6 finish. You ended up in 9th, but at the end of the day, it's still good enough for third for the round. Well done.
Yeah, very tricky in that second race, and Raynard was defending really good, so towards the end I knew I had to just take a little bit of a risk and get it down the inside somehow, but it didn't pay off. But well done to everyone, and Rainer and Dylan, well, good drive.
We'll come back to you in just a moment, mate, because there's a bit to roll through here. I'll go to second for the round in Rainer Costello right now. That not getting that 0x in the second race, mate, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. But yeah, it was a good race coming through the pack. But obviously we're on 0x until the tap, and then it's cost me 5 points. Round could have probably looked a bit different otherwise, and the championship would have looked a lot better without that. So pretty disappointing in all honesty.
And that being said, mate, a good drive nonetheless to come through and finish in 5th position. In a race where we didn't get a safety car to bunch the field up. You had to fight your way through, and as the boys have already detailed, first, second and third here in this race, very difficult to overtake.
Yeah, well, I hadn't got a chance to do much preparation, and I hadn't done a single official race this week or any overtakes, so I wasn't sure how the second race would go, but as the race went on, sort of just got off to a cautious start just to find my feet and slowly work my way through the pack, and ended up in a pretty good position at the end.
Chris Kisby, have you got any questions for the runaway? Because at some point in the next 5 minutes, I am going to let him run away because he's on curfew with his parents, and he's already well past it for the night.
Oh dear. Just coming through the pack there. I noticed you were trying to get cars between you and the two behind you, which I thought was really sensible driving. And the other guys, you could pick where you passed a car, but the others they had to try and go with you. So you also had to pick a place where you thought the other car would get in front of them. Did that come into your mind as you were driving around there, Rainer?
Yeah, it definitely did. We were watching Dylan and Aaron the whole race just to see where they were, and we were pretty much just around each other the entire race. So yeah, it was basically just about picking moments to pass that wouldn't result in contact, and just making sure we did it cleanly and just didn't rush anything unnecessarily.
Yeah, just before you go there, I did notice your posts there, and you may not have heard my comment about Grinners are winners, and that was relating to his real life wins on the weekend. I saw on his post that he did get a couple of good races in with his karts and the real life. So congratulations on that, as well as congratulations on your driving tonight. Between the three of you, it was just unreal. We just didn't know where to look. We really didn't. We were going from back to front, first, second, third, back to 14th, 15th, 16th, and then as you made your way through the pack, it was unreal. So great stuff tonight, Rainer.
Yeah, it was good racing. Thanks, guys.
And just quickly as well, mate. Obviously, you may have already seen the news, but the old local karting community's mourning the loss of Alf Capri, eh?
Yeah, it's definitely not good news, and yeah, he'll remain in our thoughts, and yeah, definitely won't be forgotten for a long time.
Well said, mate.
Absolutely not. No, 100%. Quickly, can I get your thoughts on next week? Because Chicago is the great unknown. It's one of the newest circuits on the platform. We haven't had a race there yet. Obviously, next week breaks new territory, and it's also a 73-lapper. So we get the first and only enduro of the season out of the road very early. It also marks the halfway mark of the season. There's a lot on the table next Tuesday night.
Yeah, there definitely is. Yeah, I'll have to get the track first. But yeah,
Yes.
it looks like a pretty fun track, very exciting. So we'll get the track, do some laps, do our normal preparation, and we'll see how we go. Long race as well, so should be exciting.
Train Chris Kisby.
Yeah, we'll get that in somewhere.
Okay, yeah. Let's just settle down. And Rainer, the invoices go directly to Chris Kisby, Spirit of Tasmania. You can make a little bit of money out of driver coaching, I'm sure. Hey, mate, I'll let you do some thank yous at this point in time, and then we'll let you go.
I'd like to thank Hoglin Race Engineering and Daniel for all the support, the setups, and for crew chiefing me the whole way. And he's a really big help. Thanks to Matt for a bit of fun before the race. I was showing him around the track so he could do his hot lap, and I heard it was pretty exciting.
It was.
It was.
But yeah, and I'd also like to thank the boys for good racing. Good job to Dylan and Aaron. Despite that that last little incident, it was pretty good racing the whole way. So and I'd also like to thank my parents for supporting me, and my granddad for tuning in.
Well done, mate. Well
G'day,
said.
Rainer's granddad.
Exactly.
I said, g'day, great Rainer's granddad.
Mate, get out of here. Get some sleep. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Very rare that we talk about Rainer Costello not finishing first or second. It was third and fifth tonight, but still good enough for second for the round. Dylan Rudd, let's bring you in at this point in time. Well done. Round honours are yours. You worked hard for that one, though.
Yeah, that reverse good was definitely a tough race. Overcooked the tyres in about the first 5 laps, so it definitely made it difficult for the rest of the race, but tried to keep it clean, but yeah, it definitely wasn't easy.
We loved
it.
it.
Certainly was not. No, we loved every second of it, mate. Absolutely. It was a lot of fun to watch and to be a part of. In saying that, though, in these sprint races, you've just touched on a point that we did not even touch on throughout the course of the night because we didn't think about fuel stops or strategy or anything else, but tyre wear. How were they at the end of 20 laps? Because you guys really slogged them hard.
Yeah, well, I definitely just from overheated them in about the first 5 laps, so they were pretty average after that for the rest of the race, which definitely made it harder to get a run and pass people, but made it work.
And if anyone was smiling after the contact between Aaron Dodd and Rainer Costello, it was you because you got 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah. Bit of a free hit, but
yeah, and an inch is as good as a mile, as we said all night long. There were 2 critical points in the end because, well, actually put it this way. if the order had stayed as it was to the end there, and Rayner maintained his 0x, it wouldn't have been an 8-point margin for Round Honours. It would have been a 1. And instead, it's a 7-point power play for Dylan Rudd. And now the margin in the championship is just 8 points. So, I mean, I don't know what Aaron Dodd drinks, whether it's, lemonades or whether it's something with a little bit more of a kick. But I think Dylan Rudd owes you a couple of them there tonight, Aaron Dodd. No doubt about that. It could be the difference at the end of what is a very tight championship fight. We're almost at the halfway mark. And despite obvious moments throughout the course of the season, you're right in this, mate. Are you feeling the pressure at the moment, or is it not getting to you just yet?
Say it's getting to me just yet. Still, I'm in the hunt, so yeah, not really much to lose at the moment.
Big night, though, because obviously a couple of the guys that were pushing you into this round have dropped off significantly.
Yeah, I only really have one car to beat at the moment, which is Rayner. So if I can hopefully keep doing that with the rounds coming, I should hopefully all the championship points back in my favour.
Well, if you need any encouragement, mate, you shouldn't need any encouragement, but if you look at the points last season, and Rayner just missed out by 1, he was a fair way behind with a missed round because he had to go off to school camp. So, where Zach said that Rayner's got his little bit of a comfort zone, I don't believe that because of what we saw with Laseth Leonage last season and the way that Rayner ran him down. No, you're not comfortable, unless you're 50 points in front. It's just, that's the way it is.
Yeah, fair point too. I'll pay that. The Spirit of Tasmania is having a good one tonight, isn't he? In saying all of that, can I bring in? I know, and I appreciate our top 3 from the previous race sticking around for a little bit longer here because they must be feeling neglected because we've hardly spoken to them for the last 15 minutes. But Brenton Nitschke, Ash Davis, Jacob Brewer are all still here. Can I bring you guys in and just get a comment on tyre wear in that second race? Because obviously the guys at the back that charged through there, namely, of course, Rudd, Costello, and Dodd, their tyres got a fairly hard workout. I'll spit it out eventually. They got a fairly hard workout in all of that because they were working hard to try and make up ground by virtue of the nature of a reverse grid race. Brenton, as the leader, how were your tyres at the end of 20 laps there, mate?
They weren't too bad. I think probably the last 6 laps I really started feeling it, and obviously with that came a few little mistakes, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. Obviously not having to pass a lot of cars. We didn't really wear them out too much, but they were starting to hurt with about 6 to go, so yeah, not too bad.
Ash, Jacob, a comment from you guys?
No, I was still pretty good on tyres towards the end there. I think not having any pressure around, and you could just focus on hitting laps out until the end. So yeah, no problems on tyres.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as Ash. I tried to make sure I looked after them because I thought there would be a time where I'd have to be defending, but luckily that didn't happen. But my tyres weren't too bad at the end.
Good stuff. Excellent. Now, let's press forward here, boys, because I'm looking at it. I'm already over time for tonight. We were hoping to get out of here a little bit earlier. That's not going to happen. But we will try and be out of here by 10:30. So, let me get some thank yous out of the way from the top 3 here as far as the race was concerned, and some sponsors. I'll start with you, Ash Davis.
I'd just like to thank SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, Racing Ears, Custom Gear Protection, Clean Solar, Brisbane Ipswich, Cutting Edge Tracks, AD 3D Printing, and Boss Surveillance System.
Jacob, no worries, mate. Well done, Jacob Brewer.
Just like to thank the boys at E1 Sim Racing, Coghlan Race Engineering, and yeah, that's pretty much it for now that I can remember. I'll probably get in trouble off Anton soon, but it's okay.
And rightly so, because you had half an hour to find, but that's all right. We'll get to Brenton Nitschke now.
Yeah, big shout out to the Frog Leap team in general. Just Energy, Formula, Dynamic Floor and Wall Tiling, Precision Sim Training, Sideways Photography, Camden Fitness, the Pet Door Company, Doric Engineering, and Sydney Computers.
Nicely done, mate. Now, to the remaining 2 of the top 3 from the round that are still here. Aaron Dodd, you're up.
Just all the boys at 95 Sim Sports,
You.
and all our sponsors, SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, iClean, Solar, Ipswich and Brisbane, Boss Surveillance Systems, AD3D, 3D Printing Services, Cutting Edge Tracks, Racing Ears Custom Ear Protection, and RSW Graphics, and you blokes and everyone in the league.
No worries. And Dylan Rod, as the round winner, the floor is yours.
I'd like to thank all the guys at 95 Simsport, SRT Australia, Racecraft Simulations, iClean Solar, Ipswich and Brisbane, Boss Surveillance Systems, AD3D, 3D Printing Services, Cutting Edge Tracks, Racing Ears Custom Ear Protection, and RSW Graphics.
Well done. Hey, Chris Kisby, before I press on to talking about Chicago next week, have you got anything you want to ask these guys in particular?
Oh, I think I've just about asked me so many questions all the way out. It's just fantastic racing by everybody that we've spoken to tonight. And as I say it every single week, I sit and watch these guys race, and they are so far in front of me that I learn something every single time I watch them. And I thank them all from first to last for that privilege of being able to sit back, watch how they do things, and witness some of the stuff that they're able to pull off on these tracks in these cars, which are very, very hard to drive.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. We have the best seat in the house each and every Tuesday night. Well,
we do.
Me every Tuesday night, Chris Kisby when the network wants to play ball.
When the network wants to play ball, yeah.
Exactly. You would think, despite the fact that they're on a little island, it wouldn't be so hard to...
we just locked you all out, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, to get the internet to hook up on Australian soil. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Look, obviously next week, the first enduro of the season. So let's run through some of the motions here, ladies and gentlemen. And there's a graphic I haven't seen for a while. Yes, Zach Cabe, Chris Kisby, Matt Davis already departed. But yep, that's who's with you for the moment. We're with you for another 10 minutes or so here, and I'm going to try and keep it tight. Apologies in advance to JP. But in saying all of that, next week, first and only enduro of the season. It's a new circuit. It's a street circuit. It brings with it its obvious challenges, being concrete barriers. Has anyone here, and this is open slather, anyone can jump in, chime in, have a say here. Has anyone yet downloaded the Chicago circuit, had a look at it, got a plan of attack in place?
I've downloaded it last night, did a few laps, and I think I did 20 laps and destroyed about 15 Frog Leap Mustangs.
Yes, so that sounds about right.
I did the same with Porsches.
So in other words, what you're saying is the circuit's challenging.
It is, but after a bit, absolutely love the track. Absolutely amazing little track to run around. I love the street circuit, so I think it's going to be exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how many cars make it to the end in an enduro. So,
did you find it very rough, like I did?
Oh yeah, rough as anything. One mistake, you're in the fence, and not tire barriers, it's cement. So it's going to be interesting to see how everyone goes next week.
Just getting word in my ear that it's reminiscent of circuits like Homebush and Adelaide, and the fact that it's an iRacing purpose-designed circuit, it's not an official real-world racetrack, that adds an element of an intrigue to it as well, because we talk about the realism of sim racing, but now it's a little bit of fantasy land as well next Tuesday night, and really looking forward to it. And you mentioned a short little circuit. Well, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know the actual dynamics and all the maths of the circuit, but I know our enduros are 250k. So you divide that by 73, and you end up with a number that reads 3.42. So it is a little circuit. There's no doubt about that. And getting 34 cars around it in one piece, look, yeah, easier said than done. Qualifying is going to be interesting. So too the race. Safety car will probably be on standby and need a fuel up next Tuesday night at some point. But in saying all of that, new qualifying procedure for next week as well. So there's going to be, obviously, we're on air at 7:50. The race is going to start at the earlier time of 8 o'clock because it's an enduro. That's our standard procedure for enduros throughout this season. And also the last round of the championship, because there are 2 sprint races there, 100 and 150 kilometres each. The practice, there will be an extended practice for these guys. Then qualifying is split into 2. bottom 50%, top 50%. Then we go racing for 73 laps. And Dylan Rudd, we were talking about the importance of finding some clean real estate in qualifying and how difficult that can be. Probably a good thing that we're not going to have 34 all in next Tuesday night.
Yeah, it'll definitely make it a lot easier to find a bit of clean space on the road to get a good lap in, and especially around Chicago. It's very tight, technical, very difficult track, so keeping it off the balls will be hard.
Grand Prix of Detroit circuit in Belle Isle, Michigan, the following week as well for a sprint round. And then, of course, onto the Red Bull Ring, to Imola, to Twin Ring, to Phillip Island, and to Bathurst to round out the season. So the second half of the championship looking rather busy. And we finish on Australian soil with a double, of course, Phillip Island and Bathurst. And Dylan, those little 5-pointers that you've been able to snatch away from Rainer Costello the last couple of weeks, that's making all the difference at the moment. Qualifying, you seem to have found a sweet spot. That seems to be your wheelhouse here.
Yeah, well, I was actually coming into this round, didn't think my qualifying pace was too strong, so I was actually quite surprised to get pole. But yeah, all those 5-pointers are making the difference at the end of the day, and hopefully at the end of the season as well.
There's one of the less flattering moments of the night. Replayed on your screen at the moment. I'll just bring in Ash Davis here, because at the end of the day, I mean, we see so many great variables with street racing, mate. The fact that this is a 250 kilometre, as long as you keep a clean car, and that's easier said than done, some of the guys that normally are battling for, positions 11 to 15, 16 to 20, they could find themselves easily in the top 15 next week, because we so often see heavyweights come unstuck.
Yeah, and I think there's got to be a pretty high chance of safety cars, and probably a few of them too. So hopefully the field will keep getting bunched up, and it'll push for those errors from everyone, and people that are mid-packers, so to speak, will get opportunities.
How do you guys, I'll bring it back to Aaron Dodd right now, and I'll come down through the line here, and then we'll get you guys out of here for the night. Aaron Dodd, how do you prepare for next week, given that it is a new circuit, given that it is an extra 100 kilometres to what we normally run in a regular sprint round? So, I mean, there's a couple of different factors there, not least mental preparedness, for lack of better words, and also physical fatigue as well. There's a couple of different factors to take into consideration before you even get to the on-track component of it.
Yeah, that's it. First of all, got to go by the track, and then start from there. And then just cut as many laps as you can with full fuel, and do long run stints instead of just one laps, and just get comfortable, get your muscle memory going, and being a longer track, the concentration will come in more, and I think it will be a lot more exciting in the last 20 laps that race, so it's going to be a good one.
Jacob Brewer, after hearing all of that, obviously everyone prepares for each round differently, but I think given that it's a new track, a lot of drivers in this field are going to be trying to find that extra little bit of time to put the extra effort in this week.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I just downloaded the track while I was listening about 15 minutes ago. So I bought it and downloaded it and thought I'd get a bit of a head start. So I'll, I mean, it's going to be, most of us, I don't think, will have done much running on the track. So it's going to be a good level playing field. So it's a good week to put a lot of time in, and you might be able to sneak up a bit closer to the front than I have been for this season. So it's definitely the plan for me this week.
Indeed. And Brenton Nitschke, as the reigning race winner, can you go back to back?
Oh, anything's possible there. I think like was Aaron was saying before, it's more about doing long runs there instead of qualifying, because I don't think it's going to matter where you qualify there next week. There's going to be a few safety cars, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens, I think.
And Dylan Rudd, obviously, in an all points count scenario like this championship is, especially given how tight things between you and Rayner are at the moment. Next week's also critical. We talked about tonight being critical because of the reverse grid component, and the fact that you guys had to charge through the field, and you did that pretty bloody well. But next week, equally as critical for all the same reasons?
Just be critical to finish the race. So that'll be the main objective, just to finish.
And when you say finish, like, I mean, you wouldn't be saying 20th is a pass mark next week. You're probably thinking top 10 at the worst.
Yeah, podium.
Well, even podium, yeah. See, he set the bar even higher than I did. But I like your thinking, because at the end of the day, as we said last season, it was decided by one solitary point. Guys, I'm over time. I'm out of time. Well done. Thank you so much. I apologise if I've not covered every topic off tonight, but there was a fair bit on, and appreciate you all coming in and staying up so late. Well done. Excellent show. Brenton Nitschke joins the winners list. Bring on the midway point of the season and the first in only enduro next week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
And Chris Kisby, if you're still there and can unmute yourself, I'll bring you in to get some comments with regards to driver of the night, but I haven't got him as yet. He's not there, so let me press forward here and talk about what's coming up on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting, because there's plenty to look forward to. Tomorrow night, we get stuck into the RSRA Super 2 E-Series. Now, they've already had a Super Sprint so far this season, so that's just a regular sprint round tomorrow night, and it will come your way from 8:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. There are a couple of little subtle differences, tweaks, etc. and so forth in formats from series to series, but the race distance combined is relatively the same. So RSRA Super 2 Series single race, Oulton Park tomorrow night from 8:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then Saturday, looking forward to this. Unfortunately, I won't be here due to rugby league commitments locally in Ipswich, but it's Weekend Warriors Cup car racing. It's back. We're looking forward to that. The platforms of SimShed Broadcasting from 7:20 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Then next Tuesday, Chris Kisby's back. Thank you. Excellent. I was wondering, I was thinking I've been deserted. Tuesday next week, midway point of the season. By the end of next week, 6 rounds will be gone. 6 rounds will still be ahead of us. It is round 6. It is the first and only enduro of the campaign. But make note of this. The start time will be 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, not 8:20, because of the fact that it is a longer race. And that's the calendar there. From that point forward, it's all sprint, except the final round will be a double sprint with 16 and 26 laps ahead of us. So the better part of, 260 kilometres around Mount Panorama. That's all right for the price of admission, don't get me wrong. And we will look forward to having your company on Tuesday, September 7th for all of that. But look at the racetracks we've got in between. Belle Isle, Red Bull, Ring, Imola, Twin Ring, Motegi, and Phillip Island. But we must get through Chicago first, and that is next week. 73 laps, 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I can hardly wait, Chris Kisby.
Oh, you and me both, mate. Oh, geez, I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm trying to get this Formula V around Oulton Park, mate, and it just keeps stopping. Yeah. But mind you, I am only being beaten by A-class drivers, and I'm only a B-class driver going around here at the moment. So
multitasking, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing quite well. Well, you know what I'm like with driving and with having you in my ear, so I'm quite used to it. So
that's right, exactly.
But yeah, what great racing! I did say before that I have driven the Porsche around that Chicago circuit. Very, very rough, and I'm quite looking forward to seeing the guys there.
Who's your driver of the night, quickly, before we go?
Look, it's a toss. So I'm going to give it to the second race winners, mainly because of the way that they stayed out the front. Brenton Nitschke, he can have my driver of the night. Great race to start from first and in that second race.
No, he did a superb job, as did you tonight, my friend. Thank you so much for your expert comments, as per usual.
I don't know about expert, mate, but we make good companions for each other.
Indeed, we do. And thanks to Matt Davis stopping by for the hot lap as well at the top of the broadcast and sticking around for race 1 of the night. So the tail of the tape is this. It was Brenton Nitschke winning race 2. It was Dylan Rudd winning race 1, and Dylan Rudd winning the round on the back of his pole position, as well as that 4th place finish. in race 2. We did it with thanks to Nationwide Technology Systems, Goodyear Auto Care, Rana, Racecraft Simulations, DSL Welding, Dragon RC, Devon Stove Design, Blue Stampede Labour Hire, and FU Suicide, along with our partners at SDK Gaming, Track Cams for Gourmet, and SimShed Broadcasting. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage of round 5 of the RSRA Super Series. Dylan Rudd's day at Oulton Park. Rainer Costello still holds the championship lead. We ramp up the intensity even further next week with our third different format in as many weeks and our third different country in as many weeks, as well as we return to the United States for the third of 4 rounds on US soil in season 2. It will be that race from the Chicago Street Circuit, the all-new Chicago Street Circuit, the only enduro of the season. But on behalf of all the crew for now, we hope you've enjoyed the Dragon RC Super Sprint from Oulton Park, and that you'll continue to enjoy us. That you'll continue to join us and enjoy all the action that we bring across the platforms. Exactly. The platforms of SimShed Broadcasting as the season goes on. 5 rounds in the book, 7 to go, 8 points between the leaders at the top of town in the championship fight. Game very much on as we roll to Chicago for the first of back-to-back street races in this campaign. On behalf of all the crew, thanks so much for being with us. Don't forget, RSRA Super 2 E-Series tomorrow night, Weekend Warriors Cup Car Racing Saturday night, and then we're back 7:50 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time next Tuesday as the RSRA Super Series hits enduro mode and continues on the platforms of SimShed Broadcasting. In the meantime, on behalf of Matt Davis, Chris Kisby, JP, and the team, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.